Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. No longer California, Los Angeles to be pseudo-specific. My name's Brian Engelman. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. And this right here is Strictly Football Season 2. Let's get it going.
I'm Eric Metcalf, and you're watching Unhappy Hour.
Thank you all so much for being here. Let's bring everybody into the program. We are back with Mike Bara.
Who was that? Did you say Eric Metcalf? Who was that?
Eric freaking Metcalf, baby.
Eric fucking Metcalf. He was a hell of a player. Yeah, he was a good player.
He had moves like Sanders, and then he was a Metcalf up the middle, like before Belichick knew how to coach.
He was moving like Sanders. Yeah, he was a good player back in the day. Well, that's cool. Hi. Great to be back with you guys for season 2.
Heck yeah, season 2. Mike Bara's here. We're going to get to the picks. I just kind of gave you a sneak preview. Yeah. It's on X. Mike, where are your X feeds? You're sharing it on Mike Bara 333.
It's at Mike Bara 333, and I should actually re-share that over on
Seahawks Boy Mike B.
Just my football one, but yeah.
Yeah, we have so many pages. We have so many accounts. We're getting it squared away for season 2, episode 1. Yeah. Super happy to get things going again. Mike and I did a ton of shows last year. And of course, we had Captain Jim Mitchell. I don't know. I knighted you a captain. Why not? Welcome back, Jim. How are you, sir?
Good, Brian. I didn't know I was a captain, though.
I don't know. It just felt right. I went with
a little above my pay grade.
Well, tell us about your pay grade real quick, because you started coming in. I don't remember which episode you started, and it was. But then you just became a regular, and you're like, all right, Jim's one of us. One of us. One of us. So tell us about your background and how you ended up getting your picks and kind of what you're going to deliver today on the program.
You want to go back that far? Well, I started betting football probably in the late 70s, probably 77, 78. And just acquired a few little tricks as far as parlaying football teams and betting money lines and mixing money lines with point spreads and staying away from over-unders. Just knowledge over so many years. But
yeah.
It was a hobby, and now since I'm unemployed, it's kind of full-time now during football season.
Excellent. So Jim is going to be giving us some of his picks as we go through our season preview. And making his first appearance on Strictly Football, we had this gentleman on the Unhappy Hour. We did a full season preview for the NFL. What was that, a week or so ago? Something.
Yeah, about a week ago.
Ez'Ryel Robinson, live from Los Angeles, California. Mike Bara and Jim Mitchell are in Las Vegas, by the way, if you're interested.
Yeah, that's close.
So Izzy, tell us about your love of football. Tell us why you care about this beautiful game.
Mainly, it's just like one of the best sport in the world, in my opinion, next to baseball. I've been playing it since a kid, played high school. I just like it a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just super entertaining, a hobby, something to do. So.
Absolutely. Well, welcome Ez'Ryel Robinson joining our Brady Bunch squares that we have on the show today. By the way, hit like, hit subscribe, however you are watching. Our X feed is at TNAM Football, TNAM for the New American Media, at TNAM Football. And of course, follow Mike at seahawkboymikeb. I don't think Izzy or Jim has an X handle yet, but we will see about making something like that in the future. So I guess maybe what we could do is start. Mike, what say you? Do we want to go through the divisions and just kind of talk about what we expect out of the teams, and we'll rock through the teams, then get to picks?
Yeah, we could. I mean, I think we should really talk a little bit about some of the stories of the off season that I think were really interesting. I'm sure you and Izzy already did this in your preview show, but I mean, we've had some really interesting developments over the season. We had the draft, in the case of my team, the Seahawks, we changed quarterbacks. Geno Smith moved to Las Vegas. Now he's the quarterback here with Pete Carroll.
He's following
you. Guys have fun. Thanks for the third round pick. But there was some, you guys did some weird stuff in the draft. You took Dylan Gabriel in the third round, and then Shadur Sanders lasted all the way to the fifth. And it looks like the owner came along and said, we're taking him, a guy who should have gone certainly in the second round, and has some potential. And then, you had all the weirdness with the coaching staff kind of undermining Shadur, I thought, in those preseason games, which I didn't think was really very fair. And I've been bitching about the Seahawks taking a quarterback ever since they let the great Russell Wilson go, and they haven't done it. They finally did it. They went and got Jalen Milroe, and so we'll see if he can turn into a Jalen Hurts kind of player, or a run first, pass second guy who can develop touch for the passing game. I got to tell you, I watched the preseason closely. The guy can make some really good throws. He really can, but obviously it's the processing, the reading that's going to be critical to his defense. But I think the biggest story, which just happened last week, was the Dallas Cowboys trading Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark, a defensive tackle, a former Pro Bowl defensive tackle, and 2 first-round picks. And I'm just going to throw it out there, and then I want you guys to discuss. Jim, we talked about this at dinner on Saturday. And, everybody's ripping on Jerry Jones, and I understand that because Parsons has exceptional athletic gifts. But here's the thing. If you look at it now, so he got 3 players. He's got Kenny Clark, who he's going to have for 1 year, and then they can cut him and get like $16 million in cap space, be under the cap. They got Kenny Clark for a year. They have 2 first-round picks coming up, so they have 2 first-round picks the next 2 years, which are, it's your chance to get top-quality players. And they got rid of they cleared a bunch of cap space, which he then flipped over and spent on the corner. Who is the corner? The Dallas corner.
Deron Bland.
Deron Bland. So, and spent him on a guy he wanted to keep versus a guy he didn't want to keep. And they got rid of a guy who's kind of a malcontent. And now we find out has a bad back. He's going to have to play with an epidural. So I don't know. At first it looked like Jerry was an idiot. Now I don't think Jerry looks, sometimes relationships just sour. Sometimes you just don't want to be around the other person anymore. So I look at it now and I think it's a pretty fair trade. So I found that's why I look at it now. We'll see how it all plays out. But I don't think Jerry looks quite as bad as he looked a week ago.
That's a fair point. Let me kick it to Izzy since that's his team, the Dallas Cowgirls. So tell us about this.
Wait. First, I have to ask Izzy a question as a Cowboys fan. Izzy,
yeah.
What do you get when you have 32 Cowboys fans in the same room? A full set of teeth. Sorry.
Ba-dum-bum. Thanks. I'll be here all week. Try the steak.
Had to hit you with that. Okay, let's where it is.
Izzy, take it away. What do you make of this Micah Parsons trade?
I mean, being a Cowboys fan all my life, at the end of the day, like any superstar that you have on your team, it's kind of hard to see them go. Having them drafted, literally born with the Dallas Cowboys, it's tough to see them go. Initially, I was very mad at the trade. Jerry Jones can handle the situation a lot better, especially with like everyone he does with Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb's contract. A lot of holding out, waiting until the last second to get someone signed. You could do it a lot earlier, lose the controversy, but I mean, like, it's Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. You got to be in the media some way, somehow. And it's not a bad trade. I could say that. It's not a bad trade. We get some interior defense help. We re-signed Osa Odigizua. He was a pretty good defensive tackle for us last year. Our run defense is really bad. It's at the bottom end of the league. We get Kenny Clark, Pro Bowl defensive tackle. He's 29 years old. That's a great pickup because, like I said, our running game is very horrible. Next 2 years, we get 2 first-round picks. You can look at it as a way of they could have used those first-round picks to make trades. I highly doubt that because they usually draft a lot of really good drafts. And you can also look at it. The Lions, they had 2 first-round picks for like 2 years straight as well, and they got a lot of good people. Besides the top 10 picks they had because of how bad their team was, the other picks that they got from the Rams, they turned that into really good players. So hopefully the next 2 years we could get somewhere decent value for who we're losing. And like you did say, Mike Bara, Micah Parsons, we find out today, Micah Parsons has a back problem.
Yeah, that's crazy. Could that void the trade? Like, was that disclosed? They ran their own.
No, because they passed him on his physical, so they can't void the trade. They passed him on his physical, so they didn't find out about it until afterwards. But I bet you Jerry Jones knew about it. And
as long as they didn't withhold, but yeah, once it's done, I guess.
They had a chance to examine the player, and they did, and they passed him. So that it's all on the Packers at that point. But Izzy, I wanted to say one other thing, or ask you one other thing about it, because I know it's your team. Because it's not like the Cowboys got Micah Parsons with the second overall pick after a quarterback went number 1, or the first overall pick. They got him with the 16th pick in the draft, if I recall correctly. 16th pick, kind of like they did with the center from 10 years ago that was so great for you guys for so many years.
Yeah. Travis Frederick.
Travis Frederick.
Travis Frederick, right. Oh. And 15 teams passed on this guy because they didn't think he was big enough and he wasn't going to have an impact. And it's really got to be tough when you kind of have a coup like that, because to get a player like that who should have gone top 3, 4, or 5.
Oh yeah, and a redraft.
With the 16th pick, it probably makes it even worse to see him go. But at least you got something out of it, I guess. But,
yeah,
I mean, it must be tougher.
And like I said, it's tough. Like, he was drafted there, like literally like past couple of years, watching him develop as a player. He is 100% a generational talent. Almost every statistical category for defensive end that he's in for the past 4 years, Reggie White is right next to him in those names, and that's great company to be in.
Yeah.
But the way it advances the Cowboys, we gain more cap of not re-signing him. We trade for George Pickens. This is supposed to be his contract year. Depending how that plays out with him and Dak Prescott, we could see him re-sign with the Cowboys in the offseason. If we re-sign Micah, we don't see him getting re-signed and him leaving in free agency. So for the value, depending how that works out, that trade works out, that's awesome. We re-signed Deron Bland, and we got a couple more defensive pieces that we need to re-sign. But besides that, we're looking good. And during the second round this year, we drafted a defensive end. His name is Donovan Ez'Ryel. He won ACC Defensive Player of the Year with 16.5 sacks. That's very high output. Very, 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 very high output. So we're not looking at him to be Micah Parsons, but we're looking at him to at least do somewhat decently to fill in the role, so we don't have to worry about it.
Right. If he could be 75% of what Micah Parsons
was.
Exactly.
And that's perfect.
It's a good
especially
value.
And we don't have to worry about injuries at all neither. So
yeah, because what you're doing is you're balancing talent and budget, cap space and production.
Right.
I mean, there's so much locked up with CD Lamb and Dak Prescott. It's like it's almost like the Cincinnati Bengals problem. Yeah, you paid Burrow. Yeah, you paid Jamar. Yeah, you paid T. Higgins. It's like, can you get anybody on defense? Look at the problems at defensive end. The guy, like, I'd rather retire than do this. And the first round draft pick to come in didn't want to sign most of the time. And
the other thing too, is it depends on what you get out of those picks. You're not going to know that for a couple years because, not at all. When the Seahawks traded Russell Wilson, they got 2 first round picks out of it. But the question is, that's me.
And the Cowboys, they generationally they do good in the draft, especially during the first round, because they really don't make any big moves in the offseason and free agency. Jerry Jones, he doesn't like to do that. We haven't signed someone over a $5 million contract in free agency for the past couple of years. So with the first round picks, I'd say we try to stay away from defensive like tackles, because we a couple years ago we drafted Taco. He didn't turn out to be good. 3 years ago we drafted Mozzie Smith. He's been the worst defensive tackle in football. So hopefully we make something good. I mean, besides that, Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, Tyler Smith, all pro guard for the past 2 years. So we should do good with the first round picks, especially for the next 2 years.
Let me jump in here real quick and say, hang on, I think Mike bounced off. Is Mike back? Okay, Mike's there. By the way, that trade with Russell, you guys got Russell Wilson trade. You got the number 9 overall pick. You got Charles Cross, offensive tackle, Mississippi State. Bad. 2022 second round pick, 40 overall. You took Boye Mafe, outside linebacker, Minnesota. 5th round pick, Tyreek Smith, outside linebacker, Ohio State. Number 5 overall, Devon Witherspoon, cornerback, Illinois. And Derek Hall, edge rusher, Auburn, with the number 37 pick. So that was a lot of picks. Derek Hall, Witherspoon, Tyreek Smith, Boye Mafe, and Charles Cross. So, yeah, I mean, it's you got to hit on the picks to make them count, essentially. Hey, Jim, Mike brought up briefly the Shedeur Sanders thing. Now, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, so I can definitely give you a moment or two or 3 or 4 about my Cleveland Browns, but the Shedeur story was a big story. What do you make of it? What is your impression of what happened? And then now that he's on the Browns, did you kind of follow what they were doing in the preseason? Do you feel like Mike that maybe they're giving him the raw end of the deal, or trying to make sure he doesn't how do you just break it down? Because Shedeur is a huge story.
He is. I mean, Izzy, of course, knows that his father, played for the Cowboys. I mean, he bounced back and forth between the Cowboys and the 49ers, when Dion did play. And I think that what they did with Sanders was they probably threw a lot at him all at once to see what he could take, and that's one aspect of coaching. They'll throw a lot out at you, and then they'll pull back a little bit. But I think everybody knew from the beginning of the season that Joe was going to go ahead and start for Cleveland. And I really don't think the coaching staff was really high on Shedeur to begin with. I think that was probably a Jimmy Haslam move. I mean, he probably picked up the phone and said, "You're gonna draft this kid."
Yeah, like we're waking up and he's available in the 5th round. Right. Move up, go get him now. But look, the Browns had a choice to pick. What do we have? We had the what order did the quarterbacks go? Did we have the 3rd pick? We picked Dylan.
I think first it went Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shook.
Yeah, Cam Ward went number 1 to the Titans.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that quite a bit later. There's an interesting stat to go with Cam Ward, but. Yeah, they picked up Dylan Gabriel first, and a lot of people, just because of size and mobility, they believe Shedeur is probably heads and tails above Gabriel. You're looking you got the difference between somebody that's 6'2", throwing the football, and somebody that's my height at 5'10".
Brian,
right.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, hold on one second. Just so to recap. First overall pick, Titans took Cam Ward out of Miami, quarterback. Second quarterback off the board went to the Giants at number 12, Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. The Saints took Tyler Shook from Louisville at quarterback, number 35 overall. And we got the 4th pick off the board, and we picked Dylan Gabriel over the other options that were out there. We said, that's the guy that we like. Similarly, we had a choice at running back. Who do we get to replace Nick Chubb? We could have went Travion Henderson, which is what I wanted, but we got Quinshon Judkins, which I'll get to in a minute because he still hasn't signed. Still not signed. They're arguing over guaranteed money, I guess. Izzy, your question?
What was the situation with the head coach? And I know that the Browns wanted to get Shedeur Sanders there, but what was the situation with the head coach saying or was it the GM saying that he didn't want Shedeur Sanders? Like he wasn't worried about grabbing him in the draft. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, the coaching.
Kevin Stefanski, you mean?
Yeah. I think it was the coach or the GM. He was like, "Oh, I wasn't worried about drafting Shedeur Sanders. Like he wasn't on my board when he got the call." I think it was the GM.
Well, Andrew Berry. Yeah, there's been a lot of back and forth. All I know is reading the body language. When you watch that pick happen, I don't know if you guys recall it like I do because I pay super close attention to my team. It was a somber mood. There was not a lot of cheering and applause. Like they got their quarterback. They're like, I like what I saw to Dylan Gabriel. He's a 4 or 5 year starter at Oregon. He's super short, but Kyler Murray can play. He's okay. Some short guys can play. Get the ball out of your hand fast, and it doesn't matter. Just make a decision and let it rip. But it seemed like odd energy. I think the story was that they all woke up on the day of the 5th round and were like, hold on, this guy's still here. And they put their heads together and they made up a revision of their plan on the fly. It said, let's do what Washington Redskins did when they got Kirk Cousins.
Come on, Jim, tell them.
They got Kirk Cousins and they got RG3 and they figured it out.
That was an owner's pick, Brian. That was an owner's pick. You could see it on their faces. Yeah. Those coaches didn't want him. That GM didn't want him. Jim, you'll back me up. The owner came in and
Yeah.
said, "We're taking this guy."
That was
Well,
my impression as well. I agree.
I already said that, Mike, when
quarterback
you were
position.
taking a PP break. I said that Haslam was, picked up the phone and said, you're drafting Sanders. But,
Yeah.
Mike and I were 3 Dos Equis into the pick segment, when they came up to the Browns.
That was
That was the body language, Brian. Your body language goes as far as the coach, and even Andrew Berry. I don't think Andrew Berry was high on Sanders either. I think it was Haslam. Probably I think he made the phone call and said we're in the 5th round, and not for nothing, but I think deep into the 5th round, I think that's a hell of a pick, the Browns being able to get a player.
And he gets to be a 3rd round, a 3rd string quarterback. He's going to run the scout team. He's not comfortable in the pocket, stepping up. He got sacked. So like in the Carolina game, he showed me everything I needed to see and I said, start the guy. I'm like, I watched him roll out. I watched him throw darts. I watched him just over one defender's hands, right behind another.
Trust his blockers.
What's that?
Trust his blockers. Remember that one play? Yeah, that same play you're talking about.
But there's a difference between the Carolina Panthers 3rd stringers and then what we saw out of Shador against some of the 2nd stringers, and it was just night and day. He's not ready. Yeah. The difference between Dylan Gabriel, 5 years at Oregon or 4 years, whatever it was, he's comfortable. He's not Joe Flacco with a Super Bowl ring, but he looks comfortable. He's been there before. It's a good scenario for Shador. Just sit down, shut up, learn, and just figure it out and level your game up. And it's the Cleveland Browns. I'm sure Shador will be starting by week 7 after 2 injuries. It happens. We had 5 quarterbacks the season we made the playoffs 2 years ago. And by the way, my dark horse team to bounce back, I do think the Browns can do it again this year and bounce back. I don't think we're going to win 3 games. I think our defense is going to be filthy with Mason Graham in the middle.
Yeah. I got to be honest. I thought they set up Dylan Gabriel to look good and they set up Shador to look bad, especially in that last game. But he did show some indecisiveness. He held the ball too long. Those are classic rookie traits. He's trying to make a big play, but you also don't know how he was coached up. They may have told him, no, we don't want you to run.
Yeah, maybe they didn't want him to run. And that's how it was going to be. Izzy, we didn't get your take on that. Shador, do you think they're trying to ruin this kid's career? Why did he slide to 5? Do you think he has a chance now? Just all of it. Sum it up for us. What's your general take on it?
Me personally, I think it's more of a media thing. Like they didn't want to grab him. Like you said, the owner came in and said, we need to get this guy. Look at the franchise for the past couple of years with the quarterbacks they've had. It's like you don't pass up on a person like that, especially for your team needs, especially at such a high value position.
Yeah.
With what he's done in college. I'm not saying that he's the best quarterback to come out of that draft, but he's serviceable enough to come on your team and hopefully in the future do what you need him to do. And the way that they've been treating him, I feel like it is malpractice. But at the end of the day, it's theatrics. It's a lot that goes into it. So hopefully he comes out and develops as a good quarterback. I mean, we have multiple conversations where I tell you quarterbacks that sit behind someone for a couple games to a year, they turn out to be great. So I hope that works out for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of a learning curve between Colorado playing no defense to, we had a comment here from Darren Rutt, by the way. Arch Manning, I know we're talking football, but, he was saying that Jerry Jones is making moves for the Archie Manning draft.
I've heard about that.
Stockpile draft picks to move. But after that Ohio State game, Matt Patricia from the Patriots.
After what I saw Saturday, let's not do that, right? But
yeah, but Matt Patricia did a great job on defense. I loved the play where the linebacker, he faked a blitz and then he peeled off, took 2 steps sideways, and then continued his blitz. So the offensive lineman saw him turn around and he looked elsewhere. I mean, it was beautiful design. So yeah, I don't think Arch Manning's going to face any defense like that. But
no, that's like holding it against Peyton Manning because he faced the Seahawks defense in the Super Bowl, or holding it against Cam Newton because he faced that Broncos defense.
I want to chip in for a second. Supposedly, there's something wrong with Arch Manning's throwing style. I don't know if you guys seen any reports or videos about it, but he kind of like sidearms it, kind of like Mahomes a little bit. Even though when the pocket's clean, he doesn't fully go through with the motion. So that's supposedly a big issue with him.
Bernie Kosar had a sidearm delivery, kind of unconventional, unorthodox. But look, just get it done. The number one goal of the quarterback is to put your ball into the playmaker's hands and keep it out of the defender's hands. That's it. Like, the longer you hold it, bad things happen. Just move the sticks. It's all about 10 yards. It's not about 90 yards for a touchdown. Just get 10, then get another 10 yards. Keep the sticks moving. So big storylines in the offseason. We covered Shedeur Sanders. We covered the Micah Parsons trade. Other than Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders, what else is on there, Mike? What are the other big storylines? And do we want to even just get into that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of okay on that. I do want to remind everybody that last year I told you that Spencer Rattler is a good player, and the Seahawks should have drafted him in the 4th or the 5th round because he'd be a bargain. And they are the worst team in football, but he's going to start for the Saints this year. So
yeah, I saw that.
It's going to remind you the guy has all the physical tools you want in a successful NFL quarterback. I just hope he can get the coaching and doesn't get his confidence destroyed by the situation in New Orleans, because I really do think they're going for Arch Manning for sure. So, if Arch comes out, but
well, I mean, they invested high in Tyler Shuck. Like, they had a chance to get any number of those other quarterbacks, but
yeah. There were and Rattler beat Shuck out, and so that I didn't really think Shuck really had a chance to start. I thought that was a real reach of a pick, especially when they could have taken Shedeur, who I feel like has a lot more upside than Tyler Shuck does. So that's just what I thought. But other than that, no, I mean, there weren't a lot of huge stories in the off season. I think the Minnesota Vikings are run by a bunch of fucking crackpots, because how do you have Justin Jefferson and Addison and a really strong passing attack, and you decide to go with JJ fucking McCarthy as your quarterback? He was terrible in the first place. I mean, he was terrible in college, and he blew his knee out. He couldn't even make it through his first NFL training camp. You got a Super Bowl offense, and you pick him when, I hate to say it, you could have signed Aaron Rodgers. And you can say whatever you want about Aaron Rodgers' decline. He's still got a lot more left in the tank than JJ McCarthy is ever going to have. So I look at the Vikings and my Queens, and I wish Blake Wally was here because I'd rip him about it. I just think that they're just throwing away, a mini Super Bowl window that they have. Anybody else have, Jim, you got any thoughts on that? Or?
Yeah, Mike, you're right. I mean, the Vikings are in the perfect city too, Minneapolis. I mean, yeah, maybe Harbaugh made a phone call and said, "Hey, man, this is a character guy. You need to pick him up."
Yeah. You need to pick him so I can.
Who knows? But
I would love a character speech from Jim Harbaugh. I won a legitimate championship, Harbaugh. I would love that.
Well, Mike's brother had a good point the other night that technically McCarthy's a rookie quarterback. So even though he was on the roster all year, I don't think he took snap one, did he?
No.
Yeah, so technically he's a rookie quarterback, and just off the top of my head, rookie quarterbacks are 16-42-1 straight up. So Mike talked me into the Bears.
Well, Caleb has a year of experience now, but do you have any info on redshirt rookie quarterbacks? Because that's an unusual thing that you get drafted and you sit the whole season out. He essentially got redshirted and got to sit in every meeting and watch the speed. Like Izzy was saying, like, that helps the quarterback a lot.
Mental reps. I'm sorry, mental reps.
Yeah,
mental reps do not get your timing down. They do not give you experience. They do not show you what it's like to have those guys coming at you at 100 miles an hour.
I don't think it makes a difference, Brian, if you're standing on the sideline, for the whole year wearing a visor and have a clipboard in your right hand. I don't think that makes a difference. I think you're still a rookie quarterback.
Well, I think some of what people have to go through is just the whole culture change, the culture shock, and just getting prepared week to week. I don't know. We'll see, obviously, but you have Justin Jefferson. You have badass offensive talent up there on that team. But they were faced with the Browns' dilemma. Do you think Sam Darnold is worthy of a supermax deal or a max deal? The Browns were like, we like Baker, but we don't want to marry him. We just want to date him. I don't know. There's something where, I don't know. We don't want to commit that much. So they went another route. By the way, talk about weird body language. Go back and watch Andrew Berry standing there with Deshaun Watson when we signed him. That looked like a funeral procession. They were morose. They were rigid. They were stone-faced. It looked like everybody just stole something and they didn't want to get caught. It was weird energy. The Browns have been led by weird energy for several years now.
Yeah,
So,
I think Darnold was by far a better pick than J.J. McCarthy, as far as going into this season. But, somebody upstairs, whether it's Ziggy Wolf or whatever, didn't want to scratch that check.
Yeah.
Even though, Darnold, what did he win? 14 games last year?
Yeah.
Would they won 14-3 or whatever? But,
Right.
in the playoffs, he goes to L.A. and takes a big dump in his pants.
Yeah.
playoffs.
As far as apples to oranges, you'd have to ride Darnold. They just didn't want to write the check.
Yeah, and maybe look, the thing is too, things happen in the NFL that we don't know about. Well, we assume all these guys are billionaires, and they all want. We also assume they all want to win. It's not necessarily true that winning is the most important thing. Some of these guys are cash strapped, so maybe Ziggy Wolf just could not afford personally Sam Darnold and couldn't afford Aaron Rodgers. So maybe that's what drove the decision to just stick with J.J. McCarthy. But maybe the GM, I forget his name, went to the owner and said, "I want Sam Darnold back," and they said, "Well, how much? 135 million, 4 years or something." He said, "Can't afford that." Maybe they said, "Well, how about Aaron Rodgers?" "Oh, how much?" They told him, "Can't afford that." So maybe that's all it came down to, guys. It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, it could very well be dollars and cents.
I know that Mark Davis here, the owner of the Raiders, he's one of the lowest cash flow guys in the NFL in terms of having cash. So even though the salary cap is set to a certain amount, the Raiders operate below that cap every year by a substantial margin, and just like Cincinnati does. Cincinnati wants to win, but they want to win on the cheap.
Yeah, well, Sam Darnold needs the cash. He still has a home in San Clemente. And we know it ain't cheap to live there. That's where my wife is from. So
yeah,
anywhere in California, essentially. All right, Mike, you sent this to me here. Do we want to start just jumping through our divisions?
Well, yeah, I thought we'll just pick the division winners and then we'll pick the game winners, and we'll be off and running for the year. Let's do that.
Okay. Do we start Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Commanders?
Yeah. Can we make that bigger? So
Yeah, I could go full screen on that.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So who should start?
Let's have Izzy. Well, how do we want to do it? We're just picking the winners of
pick your division winner. Yeah, just pick your winner.
All right, we'll start with Izzy and work our way around. Izzy, what say you on this division?
I have the Dallas Cowboys.
But give us a reason why. Why can they? You're telling me the Cowboys are going to beat the Eagles, the reigning champs.
Okay, I don't want to get too in depth in this, but I'm going to try and make it fast. Dak Prescott's record, a regular season, when healthy, he's a good quarterback. His record against NFC East division opponents are positive. And yes, the Eagles are the defending champs, but their offense could get opened up with George Pickens on the other side without CeeDee Lamb getting shadowed all game. Yes, they lost Micah Parsons. Their defense is a bit less, but the inside run game helps, especially against Saquon. They were in a dogfight. One of the games last year, they were in a dogfight with the Eagles, and they beat the Commanders one time without CeeDee Lamb or Dak Prescott on the team. So with everyone healthy on offense, they should have a really good chance at winning the division. That's my personal opinion.
All right. And look, the Eagles can't be great forever. That's what we said about the Patriots, of course, and they proved us wrong, seemingly. Mike Bara, over to you. Let's look at the East in the NFC. Who do you got?
Well,
Washington?
I think that 2024 Eagles team was really good. They got, unless they get a lot of injuries, I think they still win the division, but I think that's the toughest division in the NFL
100%.
because the Cowboys are good, as you pointed out. The Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champs, well deserved. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, they're really good. I think they might take a little bit of a step back because they're kind of old. They have one of the older rosters, but they got good players. And look, I'm sorry, if they let Russ cook in New York, he's going to throw a lot of freaking touchdowns to Malik Neighbors. So I think this division is going to be like a battle royale. But I got to go with the defending champs, the Eagles, because I think they're one of the better teams in football still.
All right, picking the Eagles. Jim Mitchell, NFC East.
As far as winning the division goes, I'm not going to be a homer or anything, but Mike is correct about the Eagles. And one thing I do like about the Eagles is the last I saw, they haven't outlawed the tush push. And as far as I know, Hurts is still squatting 7 bills, right? So I like the Eagles to go ahead and to just tag on what Izzy said. Izzy's correct about Prescott. If Dak can stay healthy, Izzy's correct about Prescott's record against the NFC East. Dak is 17-2 straight up against the NFC East, by the way. So
That's wild.
That's a very good stat. If Dak can stay healthy, they'll be in it. But as far as number 2, I'm going to go with the Redskins. Finishing number 2.
Where did I get that? I heard that somewhere that Prescott is 17-2 straight up.
That's when I bought your second beer for you the other night.
Yeah, there we go.
But I'll go with I think the Giants are going to be markedly better because they've just revamped their entire quarterback staff. I think the Giants are going to be better this year, but I still think they're going to be in the cellar. So I've got Eagles, Redskins, Cowboys, Giants.
Yeah, but I do think the Giants are going to beat those top teams. I think there's going to be a lot of 1-1 records in that division. Giants
by the way, Izzy, there's no Commanders in this show. It's Redskins.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I just got so used to it.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, Izzy, you should. I took Izzy to his first Major League Baseball game. Got him a personalized
Indians hat.
Cleveland Indians
hat.
Name on the side. Chief Wahoo, best logo.
You gotta love Chief Wahoo's grill.
Oh,
yeah,
of course.
Can I say one more thing about the NFC East too?
Yeah,
sure.
I feel this game coming up on Thursday, whoever wins it, I do believe will win the division because a lot of division games, it'll be 1-1. It's a nasty division, and a lot of those games you got to win against division opponents. So I feel like whoever wins this game coming up will 100% win the division. Yeah. Either it be the Eagles or the Cowboys.
Well, it's good for the Cowboys to go into Philly this time of year because they don't want to go into Philly November, December.
Fact. Yeah, dome team versus outdoor team.
It be cold in Philly.
Nope.
Yes, it does. Marion Cook, one of our regulars from the TNAM Daily Show. Hello, Marion. She's down in Texas, rooting for her Cowboys to win, but she has no idea. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to make my pick here. I want to see a leap. I want to see the Redskins take it one more step. I don't know if they can get past this gauntlet. And I'm not down on the Cowboys. I think, trading Micah, they had to do what they had to do. And injury aside, we'll see how that plays out long term. Maybe Jerry made a great trade. We don't know. We just don't know. But I just see it as the Eagles. It's the Eagles until somebody takes it from them. So I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win it. Probably it's going to be a dogfight for the wild card. I think both in play. I mean, you're going to see the Redskins and the Cowboys in play for the wild card. Who knows? I mean, I've seen it where in the AFC North, the Browns and the Ravens and the Steelers and the Bengals all fighting for playoff spots, all like right there at the end of the season. You never know. But yeah, I think the Giants have a little bit of rebuilding to do, but I think the Cowboys and the Redskins are going to be formidable this year. And I'm curious to see how Jaden Daniels develops, but I'm going to pick the Eagles. All right, let's go over to the next. Hang on, let me go full screen here. There we go. Let's go to the NFC North. start with Mr. Who we starting with? We'll go to.
Do the same order. Izzy, me, Jim, you.
There we go. I keep bouncing around. All right, Izzy first.
I was split on this one before. I'm gonna take the Lions. Yes, they lost their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Can Dan Campbell come up and be a good head coach besides Rura way he plays? Besides that, Vikings coming in second, Packers third, Bears last. Once again, depends on how JJ McCarthy does it. I feel like it'll be neck and neck again, just like last year, just due to the offensive weapons that are at service to the Vikings.
Fair. Jim, what say you?
I agree with Izzy on this one. I'm going with Detroit. They've got the best quarterback in the division, in my opinion. And if Aiden Hutchinson, if he can stay healthy, if he can play all 17, they're going to be a tough out. And as far as losing their coordinators, yeah, I can agree that's going to be probably a tough fix. But the Lions have such a good record against teams in their division lately. So I'll go with Lions. Lions, Green Bay. I'm going Vikings, Bears. I think Bears are going to be in the cellar.
Mike.
Okay, I'm going to take the Packers, and I like the Lions. I was rooting for the Lions last year. I really wanted to see them win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson, losing him was the end of those dreams, probably realistically. And then they just got devastated on the defensive side of the ball. I like Goff. I'm with you. I would have loved to have had Goff after Seahawks got rid of Russ, but he's really improved. But I think that the Packers have the strongest overall team, and I'm going to assume Mike is going to stay healthy. And now that they've got a pass rush, I kind of like them to win that division. I think Detroit has lost some other players. And the thing is, when you lose Dan Campbell, when you lose a significant coordinator like that, you don't always bounce back the first year. So I feel like the Lions take a little bit of a step back. I still think that both Packers and Lions are probably playoff teams. Vikings, you know what I think of the Vikings situation? I actually like the Bears to leapfrog the Vikings.
Oh,
of JJ McCarthy. I just think JJ McCarthy blows ass. I thought he blew ass in college. I think he blows ass in the pros. And despite the other players that they have, I don't think they're going anywhere. The Bears have really good receivers, and Caleb Williams gets just shit on. I know, Jim. I know about the
fingernail
polish. The nail polish is a problem.
That's what did it.
But when you look at some of the effortless athletic plays this guy makes, and I'm just like, holy crap! Not very many guys in the league can make that throw sometimes. So I feel like the Bears are going to step ahead of the Vikings and maybe even be right up there with the Lions. So that's kind of my gut.
All right,
Jim, you're denying me. It's another tough decision.
Williams is just too emotional, Mike. He needs to be more stoic.
He did after the Washington Huskies beat USC. He did go cry at mom's lap.
Yeah.
He was
really
emotional.
very masculine. Yeah.
I mean, do we like players that play with emotion, or do we not like players that play with emotion? I know GMs want a nice, boring quarterback to win you titles and stay out of the headlines.
Quarterbacks need to be the CEO. They need to be stalwart. They need to be stoic. They need to be a rock.
Yeah.
They can't let stuff get to them.
Yeah, you can't be Cam Newton.
Can't be slamming iPads on the sideline
and putting towels over your head and sulking.
Oh, that's the worst.
I mean, really, and I hate to keep going back to my guy Russ, but you go back to that 2014, 2015 NFC Championship game at the Packers, where the guy's concussed from an illegal hit he takes from the Packers linebacker. What's his name? And he's thrown 5 interceptions, and they're down 16-7. With less than 5 minutes to play, and he's over there screaming at the guys on the sidelines, "We're going to win this game. We're going to win this game because I hate losing. I hate losing. I'm not going to lose. We're not going to lose." And you don't see that from a lot of these other quarterbacks. You just don't see that from guys like Cam and Caleb Williams. So you're right, Jim. That's what you want. You got to have that leadership. And to a certain extent, Brady was great in that because he was very stoic. no matter what the situation was. But at the right time, he starts screaming. You know, I think it was there was a clip I saw this week of Brady when they won the Super Bowl in Tampa. What was that, 2019, 2020? Saying something about there was some backup quarterback. He's like, we're fucking losing to, I don't know, Kirk Cousins or something. And he's like, we're not going to fucking lose to Kirk Cousins. So
Taylor Heineke.
Who is it?
Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke, right? Thank you. Sorry, I'm old, so my brain doesn't remember. But
nice
yeah,
assist.
we're not losing to fucking Taylor Heineke. Okay, it's not going to happen. So there is a certain quality that quarterbacks have to have, but I just think Caleb Williams is just too good. I think physically he doesn't run as well as Cam Newton did, but the passing game, I mean, I see him do stuff. I'm just like, wow, I wish we had a guy that, you know, on my team that could.
Yeah, but if he fumbled the football, you know, at the line of scrimmage, Caleb Williams would be the first one to jump on the ball.
That's true. So, you know,
somebody didn't do that in the Super Bowl, and that's probably one of the reasons.
Yeah, it's kind of the defining moment of his career. I saw somebody made an AI thing of the statue to Cam Newton in Carolina. It's that play where
it's your last game of the season. You can't worry about getting hurt.
Yeah. All right.
True. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and ask show of hands. Put your hand up if you've watched the Netflix series Quarterback this year. They're great. If you have Netflix, I'd encourage you to watch it. I think they did Receiver last year. Before that, it was Quarterback again. But we got to follow Jared Goff. We got to follow Kirk Cousins. Forgetting who the other one was. But yeah, I liked following the Lions. And the abrupt end to their season when they got upset by the Redskins was kind of shocking, kind of surprising. You know, I know they've lost some coordinators. That's fine. But when you have a Jared Goff, when you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, when you have a lot of players that have been in the system for several years now, anchoring what it is that they're doing, whoever you bring as a coordinator in, as they're going to be working with their playmakers to make sure that they're running the plays that worked. Like, it's going to be a collaborative process. So I don't think losing the coordinators is going to be catastrophic.
Okay. I'm just going to go back to remind you. All right. The Seattle Seahawks, when they won the Super Bowl, had a guy named Dan Quinn as the defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. And then he left to go become the head coach of Atlanta, where he went to a Super Bowl and should have won it if it were not for Schottenheimer, his offensive coordinator.
27-3?
Yeah. 28-3. Yeah.
28-3.
March 28.
Shanahan, wasn't it?
Atlanta Falcons. Shanahan, sorry.
Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. And the Legion of Boom was still great after that, but they weren't the same. So I look, every coordinator comes in, they want to put their stamp on something, Brian.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think, they've been so great on offense. I don't think they can do anything except dip a little bit. I mean, there's no higher plane the Detroit Lions offense can get to. I don't think.
Yeah, when you're hanging 50 plus on people, do you? I want 60 plus. I don't know. I don't know
why I felt compelled to argue with you on that.
because drama makes the show fun to watch.
That's right.
But look, I watched the Netflix series that I recommend, Quarterback. I drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown in some of my dynasty leagues. I follow the team. Along with Cleveland, Detroit's never even been to a Super Bowl, let alone won. So I want to see the Browns and the Bills and the Lions. I want to see the teams that have never been there, never won one. I'm rooting for them. You know, I used to go to Detroit all the time. Our band would play up there when I went to school at Bowling Green, an hour and a half south. I'm rooting for them, and I think that they're going to win their division still. I think that the Packers should probably come in second. Vikings will be racing with them for second, fighting for a wild card spot, perhaps. You know, I'm giving JJ a bunch of credit. Give me a week or two or three into the season, and maybe I'll back off my horses. I'm not fully committed, thinking that they're going to stay on top there, but that's how I see it playing out. Lions, Packers, and Vikings fighting for a playoff spot. But you know what? Chicago has really put a bunch of weapons. I know they sent Keenan Allen back to where he came from. A lot of receivers went back to where they came from, Devontae Adams and others. But I think you could see a lift from the Bears this year. You know, maybe they'll be around that 500 striking mark. Maybe they could be in wild card contention toward the end of the season. That is a very tough division, I agree, but I do see the Lions with the advantage.
I have one thing.
Go ahead. Yeah, please.
One thing about the Packers, The biggest problem with them is receivers. Since they lost Devontae Adams, a lot of games I watch, they keep subbing in different receivers, young guys. They can't catch the ball. Same problem they have with Aaron Rodgers. When there's nobody besides Devontae Adams or a star-studded receiver that they have struggled time catching and running route to getting open. They lose Jair Alexander in the offseason. Eric Stokes is there as their starting corner. They do have Xavier McKinney. Me personally, it's just hard to see as much talent that the Vikings have, to see them fall behind either the Bears or the or Green Bay. So it's going to be a huge learning curve, especially with them getting Matthew Golden. Hopefully their receivers could get that connection with Jordan Love. And if they do get that connection, the sky's the limit for that team.
Yeah.
That's it, though.
Green Bay needs to bring back Greg Jennings. I saw Greg Jennings the other day. Boy,
he was a great
still
receiver.
play.
He's solid, yeah.
You know, if the Packers had the Bears receivers, they'd seriously be in it for the Super Bowl.
Oh, man.
So, you know, I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of talent on that Bears staff for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing them taking a step forward this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, they got DJ Moore, they got Romo Dunze, they've got
Luther
Colton
Burden.
Matt. Yeah,
Luther Burden was one of the higher draft picks this year. I picked him up in Dynasty.
They drafted a tight end in the first round from Michigan, Colson Loveland. He's receiving very high.
They got some offense.
And the O-line.
Yeah, good offensive line too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go ahead and bounce over to the next division here, NFC South, starting with Ez'Ryel. We got Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Buccaneers. You told me in the pregame show that you have the Panthers. You had the Saints winning this division, so tell us why.
Yeah,
I
did not say that. I got the Saints being the worst team in football this year. The quarterbacks is just a weird place they're in. But to win it, it's either between the Falcons and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers offense. Baker Mayfield came off an awesome year last year. Yeah. They get Emeka Egbuka. The defense is very solid. They get re-signed Antoine Winfield. But the Falcons, that depending on how Micah Penix plays, you can call it his rookie year. Drake London, Darnell Mooney played awesome in the slot. Hopefully Kyle Pitts could get back to his rookie year. Bijan Robinson, top 5 running back in the league. Pretty good online.
Yeah.
Defense is pretty good. That team is very special. They could sneak a lot of games out of the Saints and the Panthers. So it's really just a neck fight in that division between who can win between the Buccaneers and the Falcons. So I got Bucks, Falcons, Panthers, and Saints.
Jim, what say you?
Izzy's correct on that order. I completely agree. You know, in the middle of the strictly football season last year, guys, remember we discussed what they were going to do with Dennis Allen in the middle of the season, you know, the Saints? You know, we were all correct on that, weren't we?
Yeah.
But
Robert Saleh with the Jets. We were on top of a lot of the turnover.
Who's the HC now? Is it Kellen Moore?
I don't know. Who's on the hot seat? Are you asking?
No. Who's the head coach of the Saints now?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, Kellen Moore,
I believe.
Yeah.
Old quarterback coach. But
yeah,
I think Baker is still heads and tails, you know, above Michael Penix. I don't think Michael Penix has actually been proven yet. He played half the season. You know, he went in after Cousins had a couple of bad games, and
Cousins had an injury, by the way.
I think Kyle Pitts,
and he wasn't the same.
Kyle Pitts has been a huge disappointment, you know, for the Falcons. You know, Kyle Pitts needs to step up a little bit,
and he could. He's a great size target. He has talent. He's a high first round pick.
Supposedly, Michael Penix has that connection with Kyle Pitts, so hopefully we can see it.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts was a hell of a college player, you know. But I got the Buccaneers, Falcons, Saints in the cellar, you know, and I got the Panthers third. Hopefully Bryce Young can have a better season this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bryce Young was someone they gave up on, but they benched him, then came back to him. Like, we're going to sit you down. You're overwhelmed. We need to recalibrate you, get a better game plan. The coaches probably said, we're going to put some of this on us. We need to get a better game plan for you. Sit back, watch for a couple of weeks, and we're going to relaunch you. We're not done with you. And he played okay.
He's one of those guys that has difficulty seeing over his offensive line, you know, and that's one of the problems.
Towards the end of the season,
Murray, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say towards the end of the season, Bryce Young and the Panthers, they did pretty good. Towards the end of the year, they started to figure out how the offense was going to be played and a whole bunch of things. They got young receivers surrounded around them. I mean, they have a chance. So, but I still got them finishing third. Yeah, that's all.
All right, Mike, to you.
Okay, so the Atlanta Falcons are going to win this division. I like Baker.
Nice with that.
I like Baker, but I'm a Washington guy, Seattle guy. I saw Michael Penix play down here at Allegiant a year ago in December. Pac-12.
You do like Penix. You've always liked Penix.
And I walked out of that game, and my brother and we walked out of there, and I said, both Bo Nix and Michael Penix are high first-round picks in this draft. If they go beyond 15, people are insane. I was desperately hoping one of them would make it to the Seahawks. They didn't at 16. You have to actually see Michael Penix throw the ball to appreciate how amazing his arm is. People talk about Michael Vick. Penix's arm is a lot better than Michael Vick's. It's phenomenal. The accuracy, the depth, the power, the velocity, and he got it under control. I mean, he's not like, there was an old saying. There's an old quarterback, Doug. What was his name? Doug. No,
Williams.
Doug Williams, Tampa Bay quarterback, right? And he did win a Super Bowl eventually with the Redskins. Mm-hmm. And the joke was, that this guy comes running into Johnny Unitas at a bar before the Super Bowl. And he goes, "Man, Unitas, you won't believe what I just saw. I just saw Doug Williams throw the ball 10 floors straight up." And Unitas says, "Yeah, but his receiver was on the second floor." So that was Michael Penix does not have that problem. He can put touch on the ball. He can do everything. He's got all kinds of receivers, and he's gonna work Kyle Pitts. He's got Ray McLeod, Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. This is a team that's stacked offensively, and I think that they just get a little bit past the Buccaneers. And Baker, look, the thing with Baker is he's prone to big mistakes in bad moments, which occasionally show up. He's not like Geno. He's more dependable than that. But he also, he throws his body around, and he's going to get beat up because he gets beat up every year. And I think that's going to let the Falcons just slip in past. So I got the Falcons, the Buccaneers, the Panthers. I want to love Bryce Young. I just don't. I mean, he looks good sometimes, and then he does something, and you're just like, what the hell did he do that for? And the Saints, again, I like Spencer Rattler. What I'd love is the Saints are the worst team in football. I agree. They're going to be dead last. But I really hope Spencer Rattler has a good season. But I think they're going to be dead last. So that's what I got. That's what I think. We'll see.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the third year in a row, or fourth year in a row, because they won it with Brady, 2 years with Baker. This will be fourth, I think. Yeah. I'm going to pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. By the way, breaking news today, they've re-signed right tackle Luke Goedeke. 4-year, $90 million extension, $50 million guaranteed. He was their second-round draft pick in 2022, set to become a free agent after this season. They also re-signed their left tackle, Tristan Wirfs, to a 5-year extension last year. So both starting offensive tackles under contract through 2029. You take those bookend tackles and you add Emeka Egbuka. If you've listened to anybody talking in the preseason, player after player after coach, they are blown away by Emeka Egbuka. He is professional. He's one of the crispest route runners you're going to find. He's super smart. Blown away by this guy. And it's like you're giving Baker Mayfield not just Chris Godwin and not just Mike Evans, who, they've played a lot of years, and that's fine. But now you add a young stud in that stable, someone who's always going to be in the right spot. That was the problem when we had Odell Beckham. Yeah, they say that Beckham was freestyling, but Baker, it's like he learns the plays, and it's timing and rhythm. If he turns to his third target and you're not in the right spot, even if you're near it and you're open, he's throwing to spots. I think Emeka Egbuka is going to absolutely go ballistic for that team. And I think along with Bucky Irving, who's going to take a lot of the reps away at running back, they'll have a bit of a two-headed beast. I think you're going to have another fantastic season from that offense, and I think it's going to carry them to another division title. I think the Falcons are in the running for a wild card, of course. And then, I think it's possible the Panthers could take a step. Maybe they could start sniffing 500. I don't know how much further than that, but maybe they could take a step based on how the second half of the season, as Izzy said, played out for them last year. And then the Saints, the Saints are looking for a reset. Mike.
the gayest helmet in NFL history, right there.
Hey, that's
Buccaneer,
Buccaneer Bruce,
original
damn
helmet.
it.
It's not very masculine, Jim. It's
That's
just not.
Buccaneer Bruce.
The ugliest ugliest uniforms in NFL history.
Some of those Dolphins with the teal blue were maybe not the most masculine I've seen. What least masculine mascot? Ooh, that's a segment.
It's right there. Yeah, it's right. It's that. It's right there.
Who was the first coach of the Buccaneers? They asked him, "What do you think about your team's execution today?" And he said, "I'm all in favor of it." 1976.
Yeah, the old USC coach. Yeah.
That's hilarious. And by the way, a lot of people forget that Steve Young started off on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Before he went over there in the 49ers and did so great. One of my favorite players watching him.
Steve DeBerg, too.
Yeah. Vinny Testaverde, and then he came to Cleveland.
That's good Buccaneer knowledge there, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, he was okay, man. He could throw it. He was all right.
One of the oldest quarterbacks to go to the AFC Championship game.
Well, Joe Flacco will do that now. I'll get to that. Joe Flacco is going to take us. He's 40 this year, I think. All right, let's bounce to the other division left for us here. Let me put this full screen again. We're going to look at the NFC West. Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, and Seahawks. Oh, goodness gracious. This is Izzy's time to shine. What do you have going on in the NFC West? You're living in Los Angeles. How do you feel about those Rams? Who's going to win it?
I think I said this on your show. The Rams, I believe so that they can win the division 100% if Matthew Stafford can stay healthy. But Mike could be happy to hear this. The Seahawks are one of my dark horses to make a deep playoff. If they make the playoffs, Sam Darnold, I think he's an okay quarterback, but the defense they pick up a lot of good people for the defense. Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to be wide receiver 1. Cooper Kupp's going to be in the slot most likely. Kenneth Walker is going to be healthy. That team's going to be pretty good. I got them finishing second behind the Rams. Then third, I have the Arizona Cardinals. I feel like they can make it click. They get a good defensive lineman, a good corner in the draft this year. Marvin Harrison and Kyler Murray. Trey McBride had a great year last year. He exploded out of nowhere. Hopefully that offense can get it clicking. And at the bottom, I got the 49ers. Yes, the 49ers, they've been very good for the past couple of years, but they lose a lot of receivers. Will Brandon Ayuk be healthy to play most of the season? They got Ricky Pearsall, Sky Moore. George Kittle's there. He'll take up a big load. Christian McCaffrey will take up a big load. But that defense, they lost a lot of key players on that defense last year. Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Javon Hargrave, one of their corners. The defense is looking pretty in shambles right now. So I got a Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, and 49ers.
All right. Jim, what say you?
Well, everybody's talking about how the Santa Clara 49ers have the easiest schedule all season. By the way, Izzy, it's not San Francisco 49ers, it's Santa Clara. I mean, for Christ's sake, they're 52 miles south of San Francisco. So, I think the Seahawks are going to win the division. Even though Santa Clara is, everybody's touting that, Santa Clara's got the easiest schedule in the NFL. They just paid Purdy. He's got all his money. The Rams will live and die by Stafford. What's going to be the condition of Stafford's back? Is he going to be able to play, all 17 games? Who knows? But I got Seahawks. I got Rams. I'll go Cardinals, and I think Santa Clara finishes last.
Oh, okay.
Good.
That's a good. Not a fan. Before we get too far away from that division and we go to Mike, just want to reference Marco here. He says, I'm a Bears fan and it's a wash. It's a learning year for the Bears. The division's so good and you could see them last in the division again, maybe third. Also back to the Lions. He says, if the Lions were 100% healthy in the playoffs last year, they could have gone to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just the unfortunate part of football. Injuries are the worst part of this great sport. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, what say you? This division of yours.
Okay, well, I'm a homer. Let's face it, I'm a homer, but I've been very pessimistic about the Seahawks the last few years because I was not a Geno Smith believer. Now he's the Raiders' problem. We got Sam Darnold. I think we upgraded the quarterback, especially in key critical situations, because Geno had a really bad habit of making big mistakes in big moments. So hopefully we've gotten past that. I look at the overall construction of the roster. This is not a great team, but they're a very good team with a lot of very good players. Kenneth Walker is a very underrated running back. He leaves some yards on the field, but he's in the contract year. So believe me, he's going to tough it out. Those games where he has some muscle injuries, he's going to play. They've got a really good running game. George Halani is an excellent running back. They've lost some explosiveness at wide receiver when they lost DK Metcalf. There's no question about that. But the thing with explosives is they can blow up in your face. And DK blew up in your face almost as often as he blew up the other team. So I think between Cooper Kupp, and I agree with Izzy, Jackson Smith-Njigba is, I think, one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. Tremendous route runner. And the yards after the catch, I mean, people talk about Geno's yards. 80% of those were yards after the catch by guys like Smith-Njigba and some of the other receivers that were there. And I just think he's the best run after the catch guy, maybe with Amon-Ra St. Brown in the league. I mean, he's phenomenal. So I think they're going to score more points. The offensive line has definitely been upgraded. On defense, Leonard Williams, again, vastly underrated player, one of the better defensive tackles in the league, one of the top 5, I think. And the linebackers are good as long as nobody gets hurt. Ernest Jones is really good as long as nobody gets hurt. Secondary is very good. The key thing,
I'm on that secondary.
The thing to watch out for is the pass rush may not be very effective. But Boye Mafe's had some good moments. Derek Hall's had some good moments. Maybe they'll get a Uchenna Nwosu back. I think they're good enough everywhere. Last year they won 10 games. The last game was an exhibition game against the Rams, who didn't play any of their starters. But they were a 9-win team last year. I think they're a 10 or 11 win team this year. I think that's good enough to win the division. You look at the other teams. The Rams would come second to me. Sean McVay is a fantastic coach, but Matthew Stafford's a broken down old warhorse. I don't see him making it through. I mean, they got the guy in a hyperbaric chamber or some sort of healing med bed thing just to try to help him practice. I mean, let's put him out there with a walker. So as great as Stafford can be throwing the ball, I can't see him standing upright for most of the season. And I think they have some weaknesses in other areas. So I would say they're going to be in second place simply because McVay's so good. Kyler Murray, you have to see the guy play to appreciate how bad he is. Now, having said that, Kyler always starts the season really strong. But in the game, I went to the game up here in Arizona. I'm going to the Thursday night game in week 4 this year again, just right up the road here from Vegas. And, he just doesn't see the field. He just doesn't. And the Seahawks took away everything that he had a great first drive, and then they took away everything. The only player on their roster I'd like to have is Trey McBride, maybe Marvin Harrison. Other than that, I can't think of a single guy on their roster I'd like to have as on the Seahawks. I think they're dead last. I think the 49ers come third, primarily because I really, really like Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is just really got everything you want in a quarterback. You can say he's a system quarterback and all that stuff, but this is a guy who's got it. I don't know what it is, but as soon as I saw Jaden Daniels, I'm like, that's it. He's got it, whatever it is. I think Purdy does too. I think if you get Purdy in the right situation, he can win a Super Bowl. But I think the 49ers definitely are ready to take a step back this year. So I like it in that order. I like it. Seattle, the Rams, and the 49ers and the Cardinals once again bringing up the rear. And again, I'm going to acknowledge Sean McVay is the best coach in the division, but Mike McDonald is coming on, and he is starting to figure out and how to use the players he has. And I think there are going to be games this year where the Seahawks defense, although it's not littered with great players, is just going to smother the other team. It's going to look a little bit like 2011 Legion of Boom. It's going to be really interesting. So I think they win the division. And I don't think I'm being too much of a homer saying that. I really, I put my money where my mouth is. I got my bet slips up here on the
you went for it.
To win the division. Yeah, to win the division, the over-under on 7.5 wins, and week 1. So.
He did, Brian. He bet that.
We'll see how that plays out. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if that
750
works
or
out.
something if I win. So.
Not too
A lot
shabby.
of lap dances if the Seahawks win this division.
That's a long time for a sports book to be holding your $100 bill, too.
Yeah. Well.
That's true. All right. Well, look, I see the division. It's hard to argue that the Cardinals are at the bottom of this division. It's hard to argue against that. So let me set that aside. They do have some talented players. Maybe Marvin Harrison takes a jump, but all of that requires Kyler Murray taking a step. Are we convinced of that? I'm not necessarily convinced of that, so I'm not going to say that. But that being said, these three other teams, I could almost flip a coin or throw a dart or spin the wheel. I could see any one of these three teams winning the division. The Seahawks, once again, it's going to come down to Sam Darnold. He got his act together in Minneapolis. That's fine, but he was chucking it up to Justin Jefferson. That's not hard to do.
Jordan Addison, Justin. Is it Jordan? Yeah, Addison.
Yeah, Jordan Addison.
Justin Jefferson, and some good players.
It's not hard to do. And TJ Hawkins, like they had a lot of weapons, and he did well. Nobody really thought Sam Darnold was going to have that type of season. And let's see, is it going to essentially be an upgrade over Geno Smith, or are you going to kind of get roughly the same performance for a whole bunch more money? I don't know.
No,
we're gonna find out.
An upgrade. Yes, it's an upgrade.
Yeah, you are not a fan.
Smith and Najigba is not chopped liver either, Brian.
No.
Jackson Smith, not chopped liver.
Not chopped liver.
Yes. But look, I really could see the 49ers coming on and winning this. They're old. They're experienced. They're stable. They have a young, talented quarterback, of course. But, I mean, George Kittle, so a lot of these guys, they've been around for a while. Obviously, wide receiver one is new there. Ricky Purcell got shot last year. Drafted him in my dynasty league. I had to bench him most of the season.
Don't they have two receivers on their team that have been shot? Don't they have two? They lead the league in that.
Brian Robinson Jr., the running back.
Yeah, he got shot also. Yeah, so two guys that have been shot.
That's
They're
nutty.
tough.
Well,
they're tough. They can handle bullets.
Well, hey, why do you think they had to flee San Francisco/Oakland? I mean, the only In-N-Out burger that closed was that area, and they took off. San Francisco lost all their sporting teams. The Raiders took off. The Giants left. Everybody's gone. The Niners went to Santa Clara.
That's a political
all
discussion.
the players that leave, too, they get a raise, especially if they come to Vegas.
Well, they all leave, and then they all move in next to Jim Mitchell, too. They all move in.
No state income tax. Oh, yeah. Well.
Oh, that income tax is a legitimate reason to sign in different places. Ask anybody that's played in Florida or Texas. That's for sure. But
Shannon Sharp's my neighbor.
You can see Shannon Sharp's house from Jim's house. You can see it. Yeah. And Marshawn Lynch is right around the corner.
Marshawn Lynch lives around the corner from me. Yeah.
You should lay out a trail of Skittles just leading to his door one day. Like I feel like that would be hilarious.
That's actually a good idea.
Yes, let's do that.
I don't want to do that.
We'll invite Marshawn over for like Halloween or Thanksgiving, and we'll just leave a trail of Skittles from his front gate up to your front door. That's how we'll do it, Jim.
Yeah, hang a thing.
Marshawn's got a monster truck. He'll dig up my lawn.
Marshawn's a character, man.
Marshawn also doesn't give a shit because he probably would dig up your lawn and say,
he would.
$5,000, here you go. Yeah.
No, but look, I could see either the 49ers or the Seahawks or the Rams. I mean, the Rams are sort of the pedigree of that division. It just kind of, how's it going to shake out? I'm leaning toward the Rams, but like Izzy said, Matt Stafford, is he going to stay connected all year?
Right.
I don't know.
Stetson Bennett, he looked pretty good for his last 2 games in the preseason. I mean, that could go so far against, backups and all that other stuff and how much experience he has. But I mean, like, hey, Sean McVay could figure out a way. I mean, he's been learning behind Stafford for the past 2 years. So depending on how that works out, I don't think they should be that afraid of having Stetson Bennett come in, play the backup role.
I think Shanahan's on his last year contract also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Stetson Bennett and Colt McCoy. I'm thinking of all these great quarterback names. Just the name Stetson. Colt McCoy. I mean,
I was actually a little bit surprised the Rams didn't take Rattler last year because I thought they would to train him in behind. And, maybe they like Bennett better. I don't know. But that terrorized me because I really think he's going to be a good player or hopefully be a good player if he gets in the right situation. But
that's a good name too. Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler. Yeah, it would have sucked to not only not get him, but have him go to the fucking Rams. That would have really sucked. So glad that.
Fair enough. But look, if I got to make the pick, this one might be the toughest one. I'm gonna go with the shit. It's a coin flip for me. I'm just calling it a coin flip between those three teams. I don't know how. I got to make a pick because that's lame. Mike, I don't want to pick against your who's your running back? You got Charbonnet and
Kenneth Walker.
Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker Jr., and we got a guy named George Holani who you have not heard of, but might be as good as either one of them. So
oh, really?
We're gonna run the ball. And Gray Zabel's a really good interior guard now. We're gonna run the ball, and it's gonna be hard to stop. I mean, some teams can stop it, but it's gonna be hard.
Then you know what? Let me go ahead and I'll pick the Seahawks. And I could see those two other teams fighting for a wild card spot for damn sure.
Just don't expect me to pick the Browns in return, Brian.
Doggone it, then I retract that. Go Cardinals. I don't know. I'm just kidding. All right, let me scroll over to the AFC here. By the way, before I do, let me show you. See, I was working on trying to get strict. See, here's what I was doing. I was working with AI, and I was trying to get different versions where it would say strictly football across the outfit here.
Yeah.
And so like they were taking the logos off, but they weren't, and then they were at AI. The more you work with them, the weirder it gets sometimes. It's like a fever dream. Like you expect the next image to get closer, and instead it just goes off the rails.
Yeah,
feel like
they look like aliens in the next image.
Yeah, those aren't Vikings cheerleaders.
No,
yeah, the Vikings. Okay, let's look at the AFC East here. Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. Ez'Ryel Robinson, what say you? Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, AFC East.
It's been the Bills division for a while now. Yeah, I mean Josh Allen, he's coming off an MVP year. I mean you can't go against that. Question you could ask is who's he throwing the ball to this year? That is a big thing. Their defense is looking pretty good. I would say the Dolphins, but they really haven't made a click with Tua, Tyreek, and Jalen Waddle. Yeah, they put up points some games. They put up. I mean, it's a speedy team, especially they have Devin Achane, but it's been almost the same offense for a couple years now, and they really haven't done much with it. So I'm gonna take the Jets second. Hopefully Justin Fields. I mean, I feel like the Bears did him a disservice of what they did with him in Chicago. Yeah, they gave him a lot of opportunities, but the way they played it out, they could have changed the team drastically around him. But yeah, I have the Jets. He's teaming up with his former Ohio State teammate Garrett Wilson.
Let's go.
There's the new head coach Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions. He can make that defense look way better than they did last year. They have a lot of good pieces on that defense. So hopefully it's mainly behind Justin Fields this year, and I feel like he could get it done. So I got Bills, the Jets, and then I'm gonna take the Dolphins, and then in last place I'm gonna take the Patriots. Yeah, they have Drake May. He looked pretty good. He played half the year last year. New head coach Mike Vrabel. They're getting Stephon Diggs, a target for Drake May, Travion Henderson, but can they beat out the Miami Dolphins? I highly doubt that. So that's the order I got it.
Fair enough. And I think you summed up the Dolphins fairly well there. I mean, they have pieces, but have they been consistent? And so much of that is on Tyreek Hill. It just he's been erratic for a lot of reasons. So, Jim, do you think it's the Bills division as well? I mean, probably. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but how do you see it shaking out?
Yeah, I'm going Bills. I'll be quick. I'm going Bills, Patriots. I think the Dolphins are circling the drain. I mean, I think they got problems down there. I think they got personality clashes down there. I think they've got a coach that's I don't want to say he's over his skis. I mean, I think McDaniel is a smart guy, but he, as far as putting his foot down, he probably needs to delegate some authority to some of his assistant coaches to keep these guys in line. I'm going to go. I'll go Dolphins, and I think Jets finish last. I think the Patriots get in as a wild card this year. I think that.
Wow.
They and I'm probably speaking of bias. Ramondre Stevenson's mom is a friend of the family, and Ramondre is just a great guy. Just to give him a plug. I mean, we attended his youth football camp this year, and Ramondre is just a hell of a guy. He got paid. I think he got 35 mil. With so much guaranteed.
Yeah.
And his mom is just a great lady. She's my wife's nurse, and I mean, we had a real good time at Ramondre's football camp, and
yeah,
we tried to do a remote from there, but everything got jammed together, and Ramondre got into town late. He's got a home here, with his mom, and I think the Patriots. I think they get in as a wild card, but. Buffalo's going to win the division. Nothing has told me that they're not going to win the division. Last year, they were last 10 games at home. They're undefeated. They're 10-0 at home. And anybody that goes to Buffalo, and Brian, this. You get that lake effect snow. In late November, December. Welcome to the big leagues.
In a previous incarnation of my experience, I had the Buffalo Bills as a client. And part of what it was cleaning up all of that stuff from Bills Nation, from, partying as hard as any fan base in the NFL. So, I mean, it's cold. It's brutal. The fans it's a tough environment to play in. It is rough up there.
You're in Northwest Ohio, right?
No, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky now, but I grew up outside of Cleveland. Yeah, I grew up outside of Cleveland, outside of Lake Erie, and man, we've seen it all up there, just a little east.
Take me to the Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, would you?
Corvette Museum and Bourbon Museum, maybe in that order. We'll do the car museum and then the bourbon, so we don't get behind it. Okay, deal.
I'll bring my 65 with me. I've had it for 43 years.
Oh, nice. We had a 65 Mustang, but it mainly stayed in the garage, and I couldn't even take it to prom. Thanks, Mom and Dad. There's no reason I couldn't have done that.
Anyway. You had a straight 6 in it, right?
Dios mío.
All right, old men. Let's stop talking about old cars.
All right.
Move it along.
All right, go ahead. Make your pick, Mike. Who do you got?
Oh, well, the Bills are the class of the division. They got Josh Allen. Unless he blows his knee out, they're going to win the division.
Ooh.
I got Bills, Patriots. Patriots take second because I think Vrabel's probably the best coach in the division. I want to love Miami. Tua makes such a huge difference for them, but they've never really kept him healthy, and I don't see how that's going to be different this year. And Mike McDaniel, I listened to him on Sirius NFL Radio in a training camp interview a couple of weeks ago, and it was 30 minutes of nonstop word salad. I don't understand a fucking thing the guy said. I don't see how he can communicate to his players. I think this is his last year there. I think he's done. Mentally, I don't even think the guy knows what planet he's on, much less what his game plan is for this weekend. So I'm just not going to believe in the Dolphins because of the Tua thing. I got them third. Jets, I want to love Justin Fields. I had him as my favorite quarterback in 2021, but he just has no feel for the passing game. He just doesn't. And he's as good a runner as he is. He'll make plays. They'll win some games. I just don't see him transforming himself suddenly into the great. It's like the Lamar. With Lamar, we all saw it by year 2, not year 1, that he could become something in the passing game. I don't see it from Justin.
I saw Fields doing well for Ohio State. I mean, he played very well for the Buckeyes.
I liked him because he played big in big games, which I think is a really important thing for quarterbacks. But he just hasn't translated it to the pro passing game. And
I feel with Justin Fields, the main reason why I'm so high on the Jets is because the Bears, before when they had him, the head coach situation was bad. They couldn't call up plays. The O-line was bad. He had no receivers to throw to besides Darnell Mooney, who was wide receiver 1 on the team. The defense wasn't all that. So I mean, in my humble opinion, until they got DJ Moore, and you kind of saw something happening there when he got a decent receiver, but still that O-line wasn't all that great. And then
and then I thought, he's going to take that next step in the passing game, and he just never has. And
I can see that 100%. And then now I just think a fresh start. I mean, his rushing ability, it's always going to be there. And new head coach, new receiver. Hopefully that chemistry could get back in the passing game with Garrett Wilson. But yeah, I can 100% agree with you. But the Bears, they changed it around once he left. Got more targets. They traded for like 2 really good offensive linemen this year. Got a new head coach. They changed the whole team around. So hopefully that could change for him.
Well, I'm going to go ahead. Of course, it's the Bills. The Bills coulda, woulda, shoulda been to the Super Bowl again. We've been saying that for a couple of years out of them. For all of the talk that, Baker was a bad draft pick by the Browns, this, that, and the other. Baker, Lamar, Josh Allen have all been to the same amount of Super Bowls. 0. So jury's still out on how their careers are going to eventually be calibrated. So I see the Bills winning. They're the head and shoulders. They are the cream of the crop in this draft class or that division there. I agree. I think the Dolphins have problems too. I think the Jets could finish higher than the Dolphins. I do.
Dude, if you had heard Mike McDaniel in that interview, you would say this guy needs to be in an asylum, not on a sideline. I mean, I have my coach used to be Pete Carroll. I've hung out with Pete Carroll, okay? And I have no idea what Mike McDaniel was saying. Like, what am I listening to? Anyway, sorry. I just couldn't resist.
That's fair. I didn't listen to what you heard. I've seen him in interviews. He looks like he's high as a kite sometimes, and he sounds like
it could be. Yeah, yep. If he was high, it wasn't on weed. It was fucking ayahuasca. Let me just tell you, he was in another dimension. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, Jim. If he showed up at your place and wanted a pizza, he'd want a magic mushroom pizza, perhaps. But So I'll call it the Bills, and then I think the Patriots could go ahead and fight for a wild card spot, and maybe the Jets have some Jets and the Patriots could be fighting for a playoff spot. And you said as good as Ramondre Stevenson is as a person and as a player, oh my Lord, they got a gem in Travion Henderson. Dude is incredible. I wish the Browns would have taken him instead of Quinshon Judkins. Now maybe I'll be proven wrong on that, but it sure started off awesome for Travion, and it started off terribly for Quinshon. Plenty of time left, but man, I wanted Travion. He's going to help the Patriots big time. I know they like to do the 2-headed monster thing, but I think Travion might end up being the bell cow over there. We'll see how it shakes out. I'll save my division for last and bounce to the next one here. Let me screen that. Let's do the South. Texans, Colts, Jaguars, and Titans. We had a Titans fan in the beginning of the comments was jumping in. Right there. Darren Rutt saying Texans all the way, baby. Full of excitement for the Houston Texans. Izzy, who wins this division and why?
Same thing with the Bills. I got the Texans. I mean, CJ Stroud, he had an off year last year. I mean, his O-line really doesn't do him that much justice. His receivers are nice. Nico Collins, Tate Dale. They do get hurt, but they revamp up in the draft. They sign Christian Kirk. They get a good receiver, 6'4", very tall, Jaden Higgins, and his teammate Jalen Noel. So the offense could be looking better, but they do lose Larry Tunsil and another offensive guard for the team this year. So that could be bad for CJ Stroud. But I mean, like, look at the teams in their division and how they've been for the past couple of years. So I got the Texans winning, and I got the Colts coming in second. I feel a little bit of the same way I did with Justin Fields, the way I do with Daniel Jones. Anthony Richardson, in my opinion, really wasn't a good quarterback. Yeah, you could be like, oh, look at the Lamar upside, the physical. Lamar is a good passer. I mean, he won two or a Heisman in college. Anthony Richardson was nowhere near that in college. So with Daniel Jones starting the O-line for the Giants, I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan. I watched a lot of NFC East games. The O-line besides, I think it's Evan Neal, their O-line is atrocious. He has it's like 1-2. There's someone in your face immediately. Yes, when the O-line's clear, he can be questionable throwing the ball, but the Colts is different. It's a brand new start. We've been seeing it with a past couple years with the quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Brand new start, brand new team. Let's see what you can do. The O-line's good. The receivers there are good for him. Jonathan Taylor's a good running back. So they get Tyler Warren. Me personally, I think Tyler Warren's going to be this year's Brock Bowers. I was very high off of Brock Bowers. Tyler Warren could carry that offense, him and Jonathan Taylor. So I got them coming in second, the Jaguars in third. They do get a new head coach. Trevor Lawrence has been the same player he's been since his rookie year, just mediocre, just mid at best. He does get Brian Thompson Jr., phenomenal wide receiver, but how far can that go with that offense? And the Titans coming on last. Me personally, I think Cam Ward is one of the best quarterbacks next to coming out of college. I thought Michael Penix was one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've ever seen, and I feel the same way with Cam Ward. Cam Ward could get the zip and put the ball wherever he needs it, but it's look who he has surrounded around him. Yeah, you could say Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard, but that defense and the whole team combined could only take you so far. So I got it. Texans, Colts, Jags, Titans, just how they got in the graphic.
All right, Jim.
Well, I got Titans, Colts, Houston. I think they're all at dead heat.
Oh, really?
Jacksonville. I don't think Jacksonville. You know, everybody's touting Jacksonville. You know, the Sharps are saying Jacksonville is going to be better this year. You know, when that happens, show me. I mean, I don't see Jacksonville getting any better this year. I think they are who they are. They have too many flights to Heathrow Airport every year. I mean, that just screws up the team. I mean, they're like London, England's bastard child. You know, they're too busy making airline trips to Great Britain.
Right.
You know, you can't run a football team
John
that way.
Snow.
I mean, you talk about a road trip, you know, and you know, at least one of those are their home game. You know, so it's just ridiculous. I think the Titans are going to take a big step forward this year. I got Titans, Houston, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville dead last.
Okay, Mike.
This is easy for me. Houston's going to win the division. I love C.J. Stroud, the guy. 2023 Seahawks are sitting at 5-20 in the first round. Why the fuck didn't you go up and get him when the Bears traded the first overall pick? I love the guy. I wanted him to be a Seahawk. He wanted to be a Seahawk. The only people who apparently didn't want him to be a Seahawk were Pete Carroll and John Schneider. He's gone now, and maybe John can be gone soon too. Should have happened. He's going to win a Super Bowl someday. I have him as one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Yeah, he's had some personnel issues around him. I think there's no question about that. But I like their receivers. We'll see how the offensive line turns out. I think overall, though, the team's pretty well balanced, and I expect them to win the division. Izzy, you kind of got me talked into the Colts a little bit. They have some good players, and they are a solid team. Anthony Richardson just doesn't seem to have it between the ears. He's got all the physical tools. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in Vegas, because Pete Carroll did love him. Had they traded up to the first overall pick, they would have taken Richardson and not Stroud, which would have made it even worse for me as a Seahawk fan. But I think that's where he ends up. Tennessee probably it's tough between Jacksonville and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Jacksonville does have a lot of issues. Trevor Lawrence, I don't think is the reason why the Jags aren't that good. I think he's the kind of guy who needs more help than he's had. So,
yeah.
I think he's the kind of guy that if you give him the help, you can win a Super Bowl with him. I think he's good enough, but he doesn't have the help. So what are we even talking about now? Cam Ward was the quarterback at Washington State. Again, when I lived in Seattle, I watched their games every week. If you would have told me 2 years ago, in 2024, when he was thinking about coming out, that this guy was going to be the first overall pick in the draft, I would have said you're freaking insane, because he's a 3rd round player. But he went to Miami, and he showed with better players around him everything he has. And I've watched him in preseason, and it's like, wow, it is impressive. So I do like Tennessee, but I think Tennessee, the rest of the team is just not there yet. And I hope the same thing doesn't happen to him that happened to Will Levis, which is just where he's swarmed constantly, because that'll make it hard. But I kind of like it. I kind of like the order that they got right there. Houston, Indianapolis, Jags, and Titans. But the Jags and Titans could flip-flop for sure.
Yeah.
I like how you said that. Izzy almost convinced me on the Colts.
And they have a good receiver, Adonai Mitchell. I watched a couple Colts games last year. He's open. But guess what? His quarterback can't get him the ball.
Can't
So
get him the ball. Yeah.
yeah,
And they got the tight end in the draft this year too.
like I said, Tyler Warren, he was phenomenal in college. I watched a lot of. I saw him beat USC out here single-handedly by himself, and he could be a huge pickup for that offense. He could play anywhere. So
and I've loved Jonathan Taylor for forever. In 2018, I wanted the Seahawks to take him.
And one more thing, Gronkowski was on a podcast with Julian Edelman. He talked about Tyler Warren. He said Tyler Warren is just like him. He said he won't he won't be like Brock Bowers where he'll get you a lot of catches, but when you need him, he'll get you like chunk of yards, like 20, 30 yards. Get it, run some people over, smash mouth football. So
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, he is legit. I watched him play. He's the real deal. I could see the Colts making a run for wild card. A lot of stuff has to come together, but why not? Why not? But I think it's the Titans. I'm sorry, it's the Texans division. You got to bounce back as CJ Stroud. They reloaded at receiver because Tank Dell kept getting injured. Look, keep your eyes peeled on Nick Chubb. Joe Mixon's going to be out for a minute with a little bit of an injury. Nick Chubb, do not sleep on Nick Chubb. Do not ever count Nick Chubb out. I don't know why the Browns did, but we'll see. I've heard conflicting reports. Maybe he's lost a whole bunch of steps. Maybe he's primed for comeback player of the year. But I think the Houston Texans are going to run the table. They're not go undefeated, but they're going to win their division. Colts are going to put up a fight. I don't know what we are even doing with the Titans and the Jaguars. I don't really even fully understand it. Obviously, they got a quarterback with talent in Tennessee, but it's almost like they need another draft to do what they did for Caleb Williams, get you a bunch of receivers, get you a bunch of talent around. Maybe that's year 2. I don't think it's now. And, they get the Heisman winner down there in Jacksonville, but how much is he going to help on offense?
Oh, I forgot about him. I forgot to mention him.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't accidentally win the Heisman. He's a playmaker. And, they have 3 decent running backs down there, but it's not going to be enough. That's how I see it playing out. Texans winning that division. Let's go to the other one here. This is AFC West. Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Ez'Ryel. Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers.
This is going to be a special division. I won't lie with you. That year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, like they say, a lot of people counted them out. I counted them out, and they won the Super Bowl. So you can really never bet against the Chiefs. The Broncos, they had a phenomenal year last year. That defense is special, and they revamped it. They took 2 of San Francisco's guys. Dre Greenlaw is coming off an injury, but he could be a vital part to add to that defense. And they get a safety, Talanoa Hufanga, who is really good in the run game. So the defense just got even better than what it was last year. And Bo Nix, I wasn't high on him coming out of college, but he proved me wrong. And he awesome. Cortland Sutton, Marvis Mims. That team could be great. The Raiders, it's a toss-up. They could try to make something happen, or they could wait till next year. Me personally, I thought Ashton Genty should have won Heisman. He's one of the greatest football players I ever laid eyes on. I watch almost every Boise State game just because of him. Brock Bowers, he was my favorite player coming out of college too. Tight end, he's awesome. He's great. In my opinion, he was the best tight end last year in football. They have Jacoby Myers. They get a sleeper in Dante Thornton. He's 6'5", speedy. You could compare him to DK Metcalf without the strength and muscles. He had a great preseason. Max Crosby. I mean, the team's all right. Can Pete Carroll do what he wants with the team? I don't know. Can Geno Smith do it? I don't know. The Chargers, they get Keenan Allen back. They get Amarian Hampton, who I'm high on, to fit in John Harbaugh's offense. He great running back. So I think I'm gonna take Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, and Raiders
in that order. Chiefs third.
I'll have it in between the Chiefs and the Chargers. I like the Chargers a lot. I like Justin Herbert a lot. The team is really good. They add on to the running back game. They had J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards putting snaps last year. Now they got Amarian Hampton and Najee Harris, and they added Keenan Allen back to the team. So they can make something happen way better this year. The horrible playoff game last year, horrible. I have no idea what happened, but yeah, it's a toss up between the Chiefs and Chargers in between.
All right, Mike.
Look, it's the Chiefs, okay? I can't Patrick Mahomes, yeah, they're going to take a step back. But Mahomes is still Mahomes. And the thing is, Mahomes, as great as he is, and he is a great player, I think he's a little overrated. I think Colin Cowherd said today he stepped into the best situation in NFL history. I agree with that. Hall of Fame receivers, Hall of Fame tight end, Hall of Fame offensive schemer, but he's still a great player. He's still got it. He's rarely, if ever, injured. I think that they offensive tackle, and why am I blanking on his name, is so terrific. Chris Jones, yeah, terrific player. I think they win the division. I like the Broncos second because I think Bo Nix is a perfect fit for what Sean Payton is doing. I don't like Sean Payton as a person very much, but I think they've improved their roster. And Bo Nix, like I said, if you'd have seen him down here at the stadium, you would have gone, that guy's going to make it in the NFL. I think he's a Pro Bowler someday. I like the Raiders third. I don't want to bet against Harbaugh because Jim Harbaugh won me some money earlier in the preseason.
They made the playoffs last year.
Yeah. But, I think the problem for me with the Chargers is I just don't believe in Justin Herbert in the big moments. I think that's the issue there. What was that one game? It seemed like he had like 10 interceptions. And so I think they got to find a new solution at quarterback before they're going to really make their move up. But Harbaugh's teams always play hard. They always play tough. You can say the same thing about Pete Carroll here in Vegas. The issue with Pete is he's great at the rah-rah stuff. So the first year or two or even three, they're going to be really, really they're going to play hard. They're going to follow this guy. They're going to jump through walls for him. Like you said, they got Max Crosby. They got Ashton Jenney. They've got Brock Bowers, best tight end in football. They got a lot to work with there. Geno's the quarterback, and as much as I've ripped on Geno for not really putting it through in the big moments, athletically, he did some things in Seattle that I'd never seen him do in his previous 8 years. He can make some great throws in moments. So I think they're more of an 8-8, 9-8, 8-9. They're going to be there in the mix, but and the bad Pete Carroll's not going to sink in until year 3 or 4 when for the 4th straight year on 3rd and 8, why is the tight end wide open over the middle of the fucking field for 15 yards and there's nobody within 10 yards of him, Pete? And why can't you fix it? So it depends with Pete on who the coordinators are. Now, I really don't know who the coordinators are, but I have a feeling Pete is very much of a guy who likes to hire his friends. And I look at the coordinators, and it looks to me like the GM hired those guys. So if they take the specific scheming and game planning out, if they took that away from Pete and said, you're going to manage the game, you're going to call run pass, but you're not going to call the play, that kind of thing. If they took some of that power away from him that he's not good at and let these coordinators, if they're good, scheme properly, then they could be a competitive team in a year or two. They really could. But as it stands now, I just like the Chiefs too much because of Mahomes. Chiefs, Bo Nix, and the Broncos. Raiders come 3rd. Chargers come 4th. But again, that's a division where there's a lot of it's going to be very equal there. So because Harbaugh's such a great coach. So, that's what I got.
I am going to call it. This is the year that the Chiefs finally fall off and stop getting so damned lucky. I can't believe the lucky streak they've been on. They have talent, they have skill, but Kelsey's getting older. Mahomes, just how much can you let the roulette wheel ride? We're going to bet on red. Always bet on red. Always bet on red. Yeah, until you don't. That doesn't mean I'm betting black on the Raiders, however. I'm going to go ahead and pick the dark horse. I'm going to say that the Chargers are going to win this division, and it's going to be close with the Broncos. I think the Chiefs are going to actually fall off. Now, prove me wrong. It's a dumb pick. I know. The easy money says the Chiefs always win. Just keep betting on the Chiefs. But I've been so annoyed by that team for so many years, and I don't think they're as good as their record has been. We've talked about the referees and people assisting them to make sure that they get wins and all these one-score games, 3-point games, 1-point games, 4-point games. I think it finally catches up with them. They'll still be in the mix, probably going for a wild card. But I'll say the Chargers win this division. And I think the Broncos are poised to take a step. So I think the Broncos and the Chiefs will be fighting for a wild card. And I think the Raiders are going to improve. I think this is another slightly tricky division to call. I think it's going to be sort of up for grabs, even though the Chiefs have been the cream of the crop for the past 10 years. So that's my prediction. Wild card. I'm picking the, I think the Chiefs. I'm going with the Chargers. I'm trusting my gut.
It's ballsy, bro. It's ballsy, but I don't think the Chiefs really take a step back until Andy Reid retires. So
fair enough. That's a very valid opinion there. Let's bounce to my favorite division here, where my Cleveland Browns are the bottom feeders, of course. Ez'Ryel Robinson, what say you? Who wins this division?
I have the Ravens winning the division. Lamar Jackson, me personally, I believe he should have won MVP. Just based off of statistically speaking, he had better stats than Josh Allen. Defense is great. They had Jair Alexander. Their DBs were already pretty phenomenal last year. They had Jair, and they add a first-round pick, Malachi Starks from Georgia. He is a very, very talented safety to pair up with Kyle Hamilton. Defensive line is really good. Linebackers are going to stay good. Zay Flowers, Lamar, Mark Andrews. I got them coming in 1. 2, I believe it's a toss-up between the Bengals and the Browns. I'm very high on the Browns. They're one of my dark horses. Their defense is great. They had Mason Graham take some pressure off of Myles Garrett. Denzel Ward's still there. Greg Newsome, their safeties are all right. They had the UCLA linebacker.
Carson Schlesinger. He's looking incredible.
The biggest problem with that team is a quarterback and their head coach. Can their head coach, Kevin Stefanski, get it done? It's the Browns. Look how they've been for the past couple of years. How long does Joe Flacco stay at starter? Do they want to play him the whole year? Or do they want to start other quarterbacks? And that's the biggest question. Because if they start other quarterbacks, then that messes with the team chemistry. That messes with a lot of what they're doing already. You can see that with the Steelers last year, with benching Justin Fields and starting Russell Wilson. They were doing good with Justin Fields. They bring in Russell Wilson. It gets a little bit shaky. The Bengals, Joe Burrow is going to be Joe Burrow. He is, in my opinion, the best passing quarterback in the league. He is special. The defense is the biggest question. Yes, they re-signed the defensive end, but how far can that take them? But a lot of what their fans say, if you put up 50 points a game, doesn't matter how bad your defense is. And the Steelers coming in last. I don't see Aaron Rodgers doing it. Mike Tomlin is he'll stay 9-8. He'll stay around there for most of his coaching career. I wonder how much more the Steelers can take that from him. Yes, they can make the playoffs, but they can't perform. So I got that coming in last. So I'd say Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers.
All right, Jim.
I'm going to go out on a limb on this one. I think the Bengals end up winning the division.
Yeah.
I like Burrow a lot. I kind of agree with Izzy on Steelers. I think Rodgers is going to supplant the team. He's when things don't go well for Aaron, things don't go well for the team, and he's kind of a cancer in that respect. He gets the attitude. He gets the grumpy face, and I think this is the first year Tomlin finishes under 500.
Oh wow!
So I'm going to put Pittsburgh probably at the bottom of the division. I agree with Izzy on that. I think the Ravens finish second. It just seems like Lamar runs out of gas, in December, especially if he's got to go up to Buffalo. If you have a conference game up in Buffalo, your money is all over Buffalo in that game. And I think the Browns actually do a little bit better than what people will think this year, even though they've got the quarterback carousel. They sent Pickett out of town, didn't they, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Vegas. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, got a 5th round pick back for him.
Yeah, so I'll go. I'm going Bengals, Baltimore, Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
All right, Mike.
Ravens. Lamar. Ravens. Lamar's Lamar. Unless he gets injured, Derrick Henry. I don't think Izzy mentioned.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Henry.
I forgot to mention. I mean, he's.
Oh my God,
oh my
right?
gosh.
I used to say Marshawn Lynch is the greatest power back in NFL history. Derrick Henry might be better, but they're both Hall of Famers. But Derrick Henry is phenomenal. The defense is good. Harbaugh, like you said, Kyle Hamilton, good receiver. Good receivers. I just think they're solid all the way around. I think there is another 12-5, 13-4 kind of season. I can't add records up anymore.
Yeah, I know. The screwing with the 16-game season is a mess.
Just stick to 16 games, 2 preseason games, and call it a day. And start on Labor Day, for God's sake. So I like the Ravens. I got the Bengals second because Joe Burrow is so good. And, they solved the problem with Trey Hendrickson. They didn't trade him. They kept him. They've added something to the defense. They've added a little bit to the offense. They got those great receivers. The key, of course, for them is going to be the coaching and getting off to a good start. They got such a terrible start. Last year, they buried themselves. I would imagine they did some things differently to focus on that. The question comes down to third, fourth. I'd like to like the Steelers. I just don't. And Aaron Rodgers is still, I think, a top 15 quarterback, if not a top 12, maybe even a top 10 on the right team in this league. But he's kind of getting to the end of the career. I think he's got not a very good attitude sometimes. But then why did he play? He didn't play for the money. He's got all the money he wants. So he's a competitive person. But when he's not able to be competitive, that's going to get to him. The Steelers just don't have much around him. I mean, why did they trade Pickens? Oh, Pickens was a cancer. Well, excuse me, you traded for DK Metcalf. So Pickens and Metcalf, I would have put up with those two guys for a year. I would have, because that gives why go out and get Aaron Rodgers if you can't, if you're going to get rid of Pickens? It doesn't make any sense to me. And also the running back, they let him
Najee
Harris.
Najee Harris, they let him go. And so I don't know what they're doing. I think Mike Tomlin is like Pete Carroll. He needs to hang it up or, become a commentator, because I don't think he really knows what he's doing. And I'm going to take issues with you too, Izzy. I want to remind you, when Russell Wilson came in, his record was 6-1. They were averaging 28.4 points per game. And then Arthur Smith got pissed off and went to Tomlin and took away Wilson's ability or option to change the play at the line of scrimmage to something he wanted to change.
That's so weird.
You got to let Russell, when you let Russell Wilson call his own plays and make his stats are phenomenal. He's like literally the best quarterback in the league, and he can still do it and he can still sling it. So I'm going to argue with you about Russ, but here's what I don't get about what the Steelers are doing. If you take that, and once they took that away from Russell Wilson, they were 0-5 after that, and averaged 14 points a game. So you figure that out. But Aaron Rodgers is even less inclined to follow the coach. Aaron Rodgers, when he gets to the line of scrimmage, if he sees something and has a play to check to, he's checking into that play, and he's one of the smartest quarterbacks in NFL history. So I don't see how he fits better than Russ did with what Arthur Smith wants to do. Arthur Smith has been a failure.
I don't like Arthur Smith at all. At all.
And I think Russ has declined somewhat physically in the last 3 or 4 years, but his coaching situation has been terrible. And when you let him just do his thing, he's still phenomenal. So I don't understand as an organization what they're doing. So I think they're probably going to end up last. And that's really going to piss Rodgers off, because I don't think he wants to go out like that. But again, Minnesota wouldn't call. So if they don't call, they don't call. Cleveland, it's kind of, you're kind of disjointed there in Cleveland. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this is Stefanski's last year, because I think the organization may change to go with somebody who's much more of a disciplinarian. And I'm going to throw a name out there that you're not going to believe and you're not going to agree with and you're going to laugh at. But I can see Bill Belichick coming back to Cleveland next year to bring in that Belichickian discipline to the Cleveland Browns, because I think that's what you lack. You have your defense is too good to finish last in the division. Quarterback situation's a mess. Hopefully this year you can work out which one of those three guys is going to be your QB. But the answer is not. If Joe Flacco is the answer, I don't know.
Can they do that with Bill Belichick? I kind of agree with you on that. Did you see the game yesterday? I mean, it's two completely different games.
Terrible.
Two completely different.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
But look, Bill
Yeah.
is not.
I mean, the NFL and college are two different.
He's not taking that job very seriously. He just wants to bang Jordan Hudson and have a good time and make millions of dollars. I think. That's
so how long could he just opt out of his contract there and just sign?
Okay. Yeah, he can't. He put that in there 1 year. I think.
Yeah, that's in his contract. He could have opted out before game one.
Okay.
He could have left.
Yeah. So I think the perfect situation for him is where he failed before, and he is an ultra competitive guy to the point that he even cheats. I think, Brian, he's your head coach next year. This is just a wild hunch, but we'll see. That's what
part of me would be really excited to get rid of Stefanski as long as they take Andrew Berry with him. But we are where we are. We have who we have. Stefanski's a 2-time coach of the year. I'm not super impressed. I think he hung Baker Mayfield out to dry. They had it and they fumbled the bag. They should have made it work. Like you said about bench Arthur Smith, not letting Russ cook. Let Russ cook. Of course, you audible into the smartest play. Who thinks they're smarter than the field general on the field of battle when they are closest to the action to call an audible and put your team in position to win?
Okay, so I'm just gonna defend Russ one more time because he's one of my favorite players of all time. Look, during the let Russ cook era in Seattle, which people say is a failure, okay, the record is 6-2. They averaged 31.4 points per game in those 8 games. Same thing here in Pittsburgh when he had the ability to check out to whatever play he wanted. Okay, they're 6-1. They're averaging 28.4 points per game. That speaks for itself. I just wish this is a guy that I just wish we could have seen him in an offense like Andy Reid created for Mahomes. Wow, to me, talent-wise, he's up there. Russ is no longer that guy that he was 5 years ago, but physically. But I mean, he still can do almost everything he used to be able to do. And they're equivalent talents. Of course, Mahomes has.
I could see Nick Saban taking that job.
Nick Saban. He
was Belichick's coordinator in Cleveland, wasn't he?
Yeah, like a year or two before they moved, before they were stolen to Baltimore. And by the way, Baltimore, I think, is clearly the most talented team on paper here. They should win this division. But the Bengals, they've been to the Super Bowl recently. They've been to AFC championships. They have great talent. And yeah, by the way, the other quarterback, I was like, who else did the quarterback series follow on Netflix? It was Joe Burrow. Super interesting to watch, like these guys, like how they're wired. Joe Burrow's an odd duck, but he's a likable guy. He's someone you kind of want to root for. Same with Kirk Cousins, who's on the series. So yeah, I'd encourage watching it. But I think the Ravens should, if obviously every pick we make is health related. People have to stay healthy and keep positions. But I think the Ravens should win this. But after that, I mean, you're going to have a battle. I think you're going to have a battle between the Steelers, the Browns, and the Bengals for playoff spots. Probably edge to the Bengals, but I don't see any reason why the Browns couldn't snap back after recalibrating what they've done in this offseason. They said if you could have imagined going into this draft and saying, we're going to add a first-round pick next year, we're going to slide back and bring Mason Graham in, if you've never watched him, his hands, he's doing jujitsu shit. He is all over. You got to watch him. Putting him next to Myles Garrett, I don't know how anybody runs the ball on this team, and they're going to be super disruptive in the Jim Schwartz defense. I think Carson Schlesinger is the real deal based on what we've seen so far and how he seems to be able to process it. He's a smart kid from UCLA, maybe the best linebacker prospect we've had since we've came back into the league in '99. We'll see. I don't want to get too high on him because we haven't seen him play a real game, but he looks the part. And of course, the story with Denzel Ward, he's top 2, top 3, top 4 in defenders in the backfield, the secondary, if he's healthy, but he can never stay healthy because of his technique. But I think the Browns are fighting for a playoff spot. I think the edge goes to the Bengals fighting for that playoff spot. And And I also think that there's plenty in the tank for Aaron Rodgers. It's just I don't see the playmakers around him. So I see this going Ravens and Bengals Browns, and I'll put Steelers in dead last. But I could see 3 teams once again making the playoffs from the AFC North. And that concludes our Pick'em section of a show. So are we?
No, because we haven't picked the games yet. We still got to pick our games, guys.
Oh yeah.
Well, we went through our division pick'ems. So Mike, who do you want to start?
I thought it would be a lot faster than an hour and 15 minutes, but we talk a lot. Oh, you want me to do mine first?
But we're all so excited about football, gentlemen. Yeah. We're back. We are so back. Best time of the year.
Yes. Mike's got a date at 1800.
Well, yeah, I do. I have another show I got to go do, so I got to get out of here. But yeah, let's go to NFL Game Picker. By the way, I was the champion last year. What was my record? I was like 78%.
No, we forgot, Mike.
It was insane. Yeah,
I don't recall. You might have had a little above 500. No, Mike did very well in the pick'ems. This is no spread. It's just straight up.
Straight up pick. So let's go to NFL Game Picker. Brian, if you can put me up there on the screen.
Yes, sir. Let me full screen it for you. Mike's picks are on the screen. Let's go.
All right. So opening day. Look, I hear what you're saying about Dallas. I think it'd be exciting if they did good, but the defending champion almost never loses on the opening Thursday night. So I got to go with the Eagles. Kansas City Chargers. Look, I can't say I've got the Chiefs winning the division and the Chargers dead last and pick the Chargers. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs on that one. Arizona at New Orleans. Look, I love my kid, Spencer Rattler. They're the worst team in the league. I don't like Kyler Murray. I don't like the Cardinals, but they play better early in the season. The Cardinals do the first 4, 5, 6 games. So I got the Cardinals going in and winning that one, even though it's at 10 a.m. Carolina, Jacksonville. There used to be this thing called the bottom 10 that used to be in newspapers. And it was this guy who picked like the worst games in college and pro football. This would be the crummy game of the week in the bottom 10. I think you got Carolina at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's at home. Trevor Lawrence, I got to go with Jacksonville. Cincinnati, Cleveland. Cincinnati's on the road. Cleveland's got a great defense. A lot of weird things happen, but I really do think that Cincinnati's focused on winning early in the season. I think they go out and get this win. Vegas at New England. That's New England. I'm not a big fan of the Patriots, but I do think that the Pete Carroll era starts off with an L. Pete is really great at preparing West Coast teams for 10 a.m. games, which is a thing. And so the Raiders could upset them here, but I kind of think that New England's just going to be better at home. In fact, you know what? I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say Pete's going to win that game. So I'm going to take the Raiders.
Hey.
Miami at Indianapolis. Again, this is tough because it's Indianapolis at home. Daniel Jones, and you hit on it, Izzy. Daniel Jones, last year, he tore the Seahawks up. And he made some terrific throws. He's a guy, you can see why he went top 10 in the draft. He's got some talent. I do think that they're going to be a little better at home. I think they're going to win that one. New York at Washington. I love my Russ. I love the Giants. I got to go with Jaden Daniels and Washington at home. Pittsburgh at New York, another crummy game. Justin Fields revenge game against the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers revenge game against the Jets. I think the Steelers are going to be bad, but I'm going to take them to win that game because I'm not going to believe the Jets are better until I see it. Tampa Bay at Atlanta, the two teams fighting for first place. I'm taking the home team. I'm taking Michael Penix. San Francisco at Seattle. I think the 49ers have taken a step back. I think the Seahawks have improved in the key areas they had to improve. The game's at home. I think we're going to be able to run the ball on their young defensive line. I think it's a tough, close game, but I think I'm taking the Seahawks. I'm taking the points. I think they win 24-20. Tennessee and Denver. Again, this is Jim, you'll talk about this on the betting stuff. This is the easiest game to bet. Okay. The Broncos are going to win that football game. There's no doubt. Detroit at Green Bay. I got Green Bay at home. Houston at Los Angeles. I'm going to take the Texans just because I want it to happen. Baltimore at Buffalo. Take the home team. Minnesota at Chicago. I got the Bears. Those are my picks.
All right. Mike with his picks. And by the way, if you want to win, you just got to copy everything Mike does, and you got a pretty good chance of
last year. We'll see how this year goes. We didn't even get to Jim's betting stuff, though. We got to do that too, right? Or do we?
Let's tear through this. Izzy, are you able to pull this up on your screen? Hit the screen share.
Yeah.
Do we want to start buzzing through some of the betting tips, or just wait until?
Hold on. All right, there we go.
I should hear the beep on my side when it enters the studio.
All right, can you see it?
Yes, I can. Here we go, Izzy. Pick 'em.
All right, I'm gonna try to rip through it as fast as I can. Yeah, I'm a bit biased. Cowboys. I'm gonna take the Chargers against the Chiefs because I have them higher than the Chargers in the division. I got Arizona versus the Saints. The Saints are just not good. Jaguars, Panthers. I got the Jaguars sneaking out with it. This game, I got the Bengals. The Bengals are they're just gonna beat the Browns. I'm gonna take the Raiders over the Patriots. I'll split between this, but I like the players that the Raiders have on offense. Miami, Indianapolis. I mean, you already heard it from me. I got the Colts. They're going to do good. The Giants, yeah, they look better, but I mean, it's Jaden Daniels and the Redskins. Pittsburgh, New York. It's either going to be one of the most low-scoring, boring games ever, or a very blowout, one-sided with the Jets. So I'm gonna take the Jets. Falcons, Buccaneers. I got the Falcons because I believe in them a little bit more than the Bucs to start the season. Seahawks, Niners. Niners lose a lot of people. I'm going to take the Seahawks. Titans, Broncos. If you don't choose the Broncos, you have something wrong with you. Detroit, Green Bay. I got Detroit. Jared Goff is an awesome quarterback. Rams, Houston, I got Rams. Hopefully Matthew Stafford does look healthy and gets it done. Vikings, Bears. I'm going to take Vikings. I'm going to take the benefit of the doubt of J.J. McCarthy. He has too much talent surrounded around him for him not to be at least serviceable as Sam Darnold was last year. And Baltimore and the Bills, I'm going to take Baltimore. Their defense is just better, and their offensive weapons are better than the Bills. And, yeah, that's what I got for week 1.
All right. Jim.
I don't have your chart up here, Brian, but I'll give you my picks.
Okay.
And I'll mark them down later so we can keep score.
Yeah, Mike, make sure that he gets signed up and can do the pick'ems.
Yeah, he's going to send it to me. I got to just download it in my other computer here.
Okay.
I've got Thursday night. I've got Philly over Dallas. These are all straight up, not against the spread.
Correct.
Yeah, this is a straight up thing. Yeah.
I got the Chiefs over the Chargers. I got Pittsburgh beating the Jets. I got the Dolphins beating Indianapolis in Indy. I've got Jacksonville over Carolina. I've got the Redskins over the Giants. I've got the Bengals over Cleveland, not by a lot. I've got New England beating Las Vegas. We'll take the Cardinals over the Saints. I'll take the Baker Mayfields over Atlanta. I got Denver over Tennessee. I got Santa Clara over Seattle. Sorry, Mike, I'm not a homer. I got the Lions over Green Bay. We'll take the Rams over the Texans. I got Buffalo beating Baltimore. And Monday night, I've got the Vikings beating the Bears. I changed my mind on that, Mike.
Okay. Well,
you talked me into the Vikings.
Okay, so Jim, I have an idea. We didn't get to the betting stuff today, and I really have to go because I got another show at 6:00. Can we just do a betting thing Thursday or Friday? Should we do it Thursday, Jim? Can you make yourself available, and we'll go over all of the betting lines on a separate show? Because
if you want to do it Thursday, yeah, I should be free.
Okay, so we'll schedule that. But why don't you talk about your betting information for the Thursday night game?
You just want the Thursday night game?
Yeah, just for now.
Information.
In case our show is before that, in case it is after that. So.
Okay. The Cowboy Eagle game. This game opened at 7. Philadelphia being favored through Boyd Sports, which is the Suncoast up the street from Mike and I.
Yeah.
The Eagles are now favored by 8.5.
Wow.
In this game, dogs of 6 points or more are 44 and 37 against the spread. That would favor the Cowboys if you're betting against the spread. To go along with what Izzy said earlier, Dak Prescott is 17-2 straight up versus the NFC East.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
But conversely, the Cowboys are 5-16 straight up when installed as a dog.
Wow.
The Cowboys, the first game of the season, the last 12 years, the Cowboys are 11-1 straight up.
Mm.
Yeah, because they keep playing the Browns. They've played the Browns so many times. I digress.
The Eagles are 14-7 against the spread the last 21 games.
Wow.
So those are all the stats I have for the Thursday night game. Do I like to bet that game? No, I'll probably be leaving that game alone.
Yeah.
Did you want to do the Friday game or just leave it at that?
No. I think why don't we do the whole betting thing Thursday? We'll reconvene for a short show, like 45 minutes, and just do the betting lines and
Yeah, I can do that.
Well, that might be better because a few things might change, like the point spreads.
Yeah, or injuries even. Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, then let me make my picks. I'm going with Eagles. There we go. Over the Cowboys. I'm going to pick the Chargers over KC. We're starting off this. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Set the tone. Chargers are going to get that upset, and it's just going to spiral for the Chiefs. Arizona, New Orleans. I'm going to go Arizona. Carolina, Jacksonville. I'm picking Jacksonville. I'm picking the Browns over Cincinnati. Don't forget the Browns have had Cincinnati's number during the Joe Burrow era, maybe last year aside because it was such a train wreck. But I picked the Browns at home. Vegas, New England. Ooh, I'm going to go New England, but I expect Vegas to compete. Another almost I could coin flip it here. Miami, Indianapolis. I'm tempted to do Miami, but I'm going to go Indianapolis. Let's go ahead and start spiraling out for the Dolphins. New York, Washington, Redskins are going to get that one. Pittsburgh, New York, that's the payback game for Justin Fields. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, oh, that's how you want to start with your division rival. Baker and the boys are getting it done. They're going to start off 1-0. San Francisco, Seattle. I know I picked I'm going to say San Francisco in this one. I think they have more to prove than Seattle, which is weird to say, but I just think that they have a lot of rebuilding and they got to come out strong. Tennessee, Denver, of course, Denver. Detroit, Green Bay, that might be tougher than we think, but I'm still going Lions. This is another tough one. Houston in Los Angeles. I'm going with the Texans. Watch Nick Chubb to burst out in this game. I'm picking Baltimore over Buffalo, and I'm picking Minnesota over Chicago, everybody. Those are my picks for the day. All right, Mike, we're going to release you. You have your program to get to. Tell people about your program and that they should watch.
It is Toxically Masculine Tuesday coming up at the top of the hour on all the usual channels. Mike Bara 333 on YouTube. Real News Live with Mike and Jen on Rumble. Come on over and join us. Me, Steve Doran, Toxically Masculine, Dr. Brooks Agnew, and TV's Blake Wally, your good buddy, Brian Engelman. Thanks for having me. And yeah, let's do a show Thursday before the first game. Let's do it Thursday early. Can we do it earlier, Brian, in the day?
My daily show for the TNAM Daily Show is noon to 2, roughly. So that's Eastern time. Yeah, just hit me up. As long as it's not noon to 2, we could probably make it work.
We'll do it at 2. All right. Talk to you guys later.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Mike, we will see you later. Izzy, thank you so much for joining us on the very first episode of you joining Strictly Football.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I hope to be here each and every week. Keep it going until I ship out, at least.
And then you ship out. So, like, every week could be like your last show until your next show. We'll leave it at that. To be continued as we leave things.
Yeah, to be continued. Yeah, thank you for having me on. Nice meeting you.
Good to meet you, Izzy.
Absolutely. Final thoughts, Mr. Jim, Captain Jim. I don't know. You're captain. Why not?
No final thoughts, Brian. We got the pineapple and jalapeno pizza here waiting for you. Regina can't wait to meet you.
I'm so excited. I gotta find a reason to get back out to Vegas, and I'm taking you up on that. That is how pizza should be. I think pineapple jalapeno. Let's put some pepperoni or something on there too. Need the salty. And then you need the sweet and then the spicy. Oh, maybe even a little barbecue on top. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I could design pizzas for days. But yes, send my regards to your lovely wife. And I'm looking forward to, what we'll do the Thursday. We'll get to unpack some of the betting stuff. We had so much to discuss today. We always say, we'll do this quick. And it's like, we just love talking football. So
a lot of info.
Absolutely. We will be back with Jim making his fantastic picks. Thank you so much, Jim. We'll talk with you in a few. Appreciate you.
Hey, Brian.
All right, there goes Jim. And thank you, everybody, for watching Season 2, Episode 1 of Strictly Football here on the New American Media, a division of the Unhappy Hour sports show here on the New American Media. So awesome. Football's back, baby. Let's have a good time. Let's have a great rest of our year now that we're getting past Memorial Day. Or what did we just get past? Labor Day? Labor Day. You know, I confused the dates. The professional holidays. But super excited. At least week 1, my Browns have a chance. So I can always get excited for that. And I'm excited for all of you. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe to the New American Media, Strictly Football, the Unhappy Hour, all the things that we do here. And we'll be back on the TNAM Daily Show tomorrow at noon. So signing out. Hi, Nimbus. Jumped up right as we're ending. Signing out on behalf of Mike Bara, Ez'Ryel Robinson, and Jim Mitchell. I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. I'm supposed to do it doesn't count? See, I was going to do the Tucker laugh, but now you're saying it doesn't count. I had to release them quickly. She likes when I do the Tucker Carlson laugh. Nimbus, what do you think? Tucker Carlson laugh? Are you impressed by the Tucker Carlson laugh? I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace out. Oh, hang on. I'm trying to find the image. There we go. No, it's not this one. I'm calibrating my show for this season. It'll be a little bit more finely tuned for Thursday, I promise. Talk to you later.
Hi, this is Eric Metcalf, and you're watching Unhappy Hour.